And we are back again. We are your hosts. I am Cloud with the peace sign, and here with me is...
Like a boss.
And before tayo mag-proceed on to the exciting games, I think it's time to announce the winners of the giveaways.
Parang gusto ko yan. Lalo na kung yung pangalan ko yung nakalagay dun. Pero,
Sana all.
syempre hindi. Eto na guys. So kung sumali kayo sa ating giveaway, baka pangalan nyo rin yung mabasa nyo dito down below. So, congratulations to our giveaway winners for the Gcash and the Legion Gaming Mouse. Ito yung giveaway natin ngayon. Ayan! So, congratulations to...
Franz Maban, Anjo Domingo, Sean Benz Barrios.
You guys are taking home with you 500 pesos worth of Gcash.
And for the mouse, M500 Legion Gaming Mouse, Richard Anthony Marco. Isipin mo, nanonood ka lang, may mouse ka na, may Gcash ka pa.
Yes.
Isipin mo, with 500 pesos worth of Gcash, 1,000 pieces na ng fishball yun.
Fishball pa talaga. Hindi man lang skin sa Valorant.
Depende sa trip ng tao eh. Baka may bundle na siya, di natin
Bakit
alam,
may
diba?
nagbebenta ba ng fishball na pwedeng bayaran ng Gcash?
Di natin alam, new normal na.
Sa bagay.
Anything is possible.
Na lang tayo. Siyempre, ano. And speaking of the possibilities, hindi naman magiging possible ang lahat ng ito if it weren't for the help of our sponsors.
Yes. Sabi nga, di ba, new normal na. And especially with Globe at Home, you can recreate the world right at home.
Siyempre, for all of the PC gamers out there as well, kasama natin ang Legion Philippines at ang Intel, ang ating official PC partner dito sa KDR Tournament Series. Stylish outside, savage inside.
At syempre, this event is brought to you by Valorant PH and Valorant Rising, and of course, powered by
XSplit. Ayan, so a lot of thanks to our sponsors. Pero ngayon, ready na akong makita kung ano ba yung nangyari na sa ating seedings. Ayan, exactly. On point, di ba?
Bren Esports, poging-pogi na. Waiting na lang sa Grand Finals.
Exactly. Pero ngayon, ang mapapanood naman natin ay ang Chimaera versus Atlas.
Exactly.
So kung sinong mananalo dito sa dalawang to, sila yung magpo-proceed sa Grand Finals. Samantalang ang maglalaban mamaya for the Battle of Third is AG Nefarious and kung sino man yung matatalo sa match that we're about to see.
Yep. And anong thoughts mo dito sa next game na to?
Malakas syempre yung parehong teams. Pero I guess siguro mas experienced in a way yung Chimaera. I'm not too sure about that. Pero from what I've heard, more on experience yung lamang nila dito.
I think magiging patayan talaga tong laro. Literal na patayan to eh. Feeling ko neck and neck game. I think this is gonna be those type of games where it's gonna be so long na dahil sobrang dikit. But that's just me.
Hindi natin malalaman kasi yung unang game nga ng Bren Esports and Agent Nefarious, diba? Dikit yung laban. So, it's not that far off na makikita rin natin yung ganong results dito sa matchup na to. Pero ngayon, let's move on to the map picks. Di tayo map bans ngayon, we are map picks. So for the first map, we're gonna go with Bind. Again, this is a best of 3 series, kaya meron tayong map picking system. So, Chimaera picked Bind for the first game.
They're gonna be very confident with this, I guess. And sabi mo nga, they have a lot of experience and they chose this map for a reason.
Yes, and as we remember, Bren Esports was able to dominate against AG Nefarious in the previous matchup in the same map. So, it might be the same results for Chimaera. Or, kung merong curse yung pag-pick ng Bind, di ba? Hindi natin alam, baka Atlas pala yung mananalo dito. No? Tapos later on, for game number 2, it's gonna be on Haven as per Atlas pick.
And if there is gonna be a third game, it's gonna be on Split, and I don't think anybody likes Split. Like a lot, ang dami kong kilala na ayaw nila ng Split. Once they see Split, they dodge. I like Split. So you're one of those people. No, I'm kidding. Joke lang.
Ayan, so very exciting games happening up ahead. So don't go anywhere, guys, kasi ipapasa ko na kayo sa ating very lovely casters. Shall you do the honors, please?
Vyminal and Ling will leave this to you guys.
Hello po, mga kaibigan. It is I, Vyminal. Coming at you.
Back at
Of course, with Ling for the first. Why are you guys laughing?
Nagulat ako sa intro.
Why are you guys laughing? All right. Okay. I have an explanation. I'm late as the prod staff is laughing right in front of me. I've been playing the whole morning. Okay. So I woke up late and I'm here, but pasensya na lang po. But yeah, coming at you live through the power of cyberspace. How are you, Ling?
I am doing great today, Vim. Kasi sa mga
I'm doing
games na
great.
nakikita ko,
This is not
halata sa itsura mo.
this is not part of the script. Okay. Yeah.
Nakikita ko naman, it's not just the games that are hyped today, it's also my co-caster for today. It's Vyminal, and it's actually our first time going in for the duo
This
cast
is
here.
the first time. I'm very excited. I'm very excited. Not gonna lie. No cap. No cap.
Look, nagulat ako sa intro, yun lang. So yeah, Chimaera picking, Vine, Atlas going for Heaven, Decider going for Split. So far naman ito. So far, Bim, if hindi mo pa nakikita ang Team Atlas to actually play, actually you did. You
I
casted
did. I
for
did
this.
see them, and we've been impressed by their run so far here in the KDR tournament series. And of course, diba, yung Chimaera, we know them as like the mainstays of our Valorant PH circuit. A
Yes.
lot of veterans from the closed beta, and of course, those Cebuano players, Ripper beats Brain Freeze. Pero itong Atlas, I believe you are familiar with them, diba? Pero parang bago
Definitely
silang
familiar.
faces, for me at least, here in Luzon. So,
Actually, sobrang familiar because I've actually known these players actually compete back then on towards the CSGO scene. You know what's a really interesting fact here, Vim, is because sobrang late ng transition nila on Valorant, and I'm pretty sure that everyone already knows na ang the most path, like the most least, like most possible path that you could definitely go in when it comes to like the competitive scene is definitely gonna be going in for Valorant, which is
Yeah.
kind of like unusual na sobrang late na dumating scene, but at the same time, really surprisingly, na isa sila like for the
Napaka-dominant.
entrance alone, napaka-dominant nila kaagad. We've seen them go up against AG Nefarious from the KDR series. I'm sorry, for the previous series na Sweaty Nights. And
Right.
nakikita talaga rin what this team is actually going to be capable of. Nakita natin naman that really close match. And I want to see more of this team actually perform in the KDR. And kung makikita natin dito, it's basically the same lineup na idadala nila ngayong gabi. And of course, a lot of like surprising plays. Definitely surprising plays. Kasi it's not gonna be the usual strats na nakikita rin pa ulit-ulit from the usual teams na nakikita natin. This probably has something to do with how different the players from Luzon are doing
I guess
compared to the
parang
players
per
in
region,
Mindanao.
iba yung meta, diba? I mean, check out what they're doing over here. They're doing some sort of a ritual
Ritual?
to the Valorant gods to bless their game coming in. I mean, all these sports teams, they have their pre-game rituals, and this might be one of them here. As we wait for their agent picks, that was a very, very interesting sight to see. But I believe Chimaera is about to select their agents.
So yeah, I will be expecting a lot more coming up from Team Chimaera. Expected naman yan, Worship is most likely gonna be picking Breach, Brain Freeze with a Cypher. Gadowers most likely is gonna go in for the unusual pick here. Kasi nope, not unusual.
Not
Parang
unusual for
kumatanda-
Gado. Okay, this guy is the Raider King. All right.
And Ripper with the as controller agent Omen ngayong gabi, and Beats as their race. And kung makikita natin dito, it is gonna be a double duelist setup na manggagaling sa kanila, and I really want them to like show a little bit more against like a team like for a team like Team Atlas, because I'm pretty sure they've already scouted out kung ano ba talagang makakain ng Team Atlas so far, and sabihin na lang they have done their homework naman din at least.
Absolutely. And I don't know if you agree with me, Ling, but I think you will. Chimaera, sobrang mechanically adept nila. Like every time I see this team, they're just, their mechanical prowess is just absolutely insane. But for Atlas here, I've yet to see a lot of their gameplay. It's hard to judge a team based entirely on just a couple of games here and there. But I am interested to see the different kind of meta that they are bringing to the table. Tim on that Killjoy, Yoshi on that Raze, Dre on that Sova. Looks like Clyded here will be on the Omen. And Bri G, Brig? I apologize. I hope you...
Bri
G.
Brig?
I think it's Brig. Let's call it Brig, all right?
Okay, I'm gonna
it's
call it
agreed,
Brig
it's agreed.
too.
Maybe the lovely people in chat would be able to correct us, but I do apologize if I'm butchering the name. Brig is going to be on that jet. So, double duelist sila, Ling? You know?
Double duelist sila. But ito yung the usual thing. I was expecting like a Sage play at least coming out from their bind. Kasi it's just really a new, parang sabihin talaga natin, they're more of the team na kung lineup nila is something that we haven't seen before. I was expecting like a lot more like a surprise pick
Parang
here coming out from their
unorthodox,
lineup.
kumbaga.
Oh, sobrang unorthodox talaga na ginagawa nila. But sasabihin talaga natin na if your team actually has experience against like has experience so far in the game, parang mas madali nyo talaga like to even counter those type of plays na ginagawa nila. No matter what pocket strategy na like papakita mo yung gabi, you always have to come prepared for like the worst. You basically have to anticipate everything at this point. Kahit sabihin mo it's literally nothing that you've seen before. So kung makikita natin dito, we are definitely going to be seeing them going in for the slow paced play and more inclining on towards that a push or a execute na makikita natin yung gabi with just 3 agents gonna be all going in for their anchor here. Although Clyde D going in for the jiggle peak, trying to make sure that no one's gonna be crossing on towards Cubby. Engagement here and there. That's gonna be the first contact. Bri being the first one to fall down. And good thing there's gonna be Yoshi just waiting around the corner. There's a concuss, Beats picking off one. And of course, Yoshi with the classic picking off another one in this game.
Looks like a really fast trade happening all around here. Classic split push coming in from Chimaera over at A, of course. It's going to be a 2v2 situation here with Gado on that spike. Super fast trades coming all around here.
Super fast trades and already on a 1v1 situation with little to no information kung saan ba talaga manggagaling enemy so far. That Pangel is going to be throw him off in a really off position. Although the spike is not going to be planted or nowhere near on towards the race, he is going to be
30
at
seconds
least
left.
anticipating the Mimbo push on towards CT. But little does he know that Tim is already on his way towards heaven. That timing there is completely off because Beats finally has his hands on towards the spike. Tim could actually go in for the push here and could actually anticipate this angle kung saan ba talaga siya on like playing towards a pro span situation. A little bad peek there, but good thing that's gonna be a quick peek nagagaling kay Beats and finishing off the first round with the 3K.
I mean, that was just a really good swing coming in for Beats. Naka-pre-aim na dun si Tim, right? He knew that he was going to be coming out from that angle, but it's just a really, really good swing from Beats right there. Because from that sound cue alone, from that plant, diba? Alam mo na nasa default yung plant eh. So, I was just really surprised. Sorry for my exaggerated reaction, but yeah.
I mean, I would be surprised as well.
I was
Ako
surprised.
naman din.
Yeah. Surprised
I was
AF.
expecting the duel to be like a lot more favorable from the high ground plus yung mga pre-aim na ginagawa nila from the Ghost. Parang it's kind of surprising. It's just reaction time naman din mag-play a part onto that. No matter how well you actually pre-frame crosshair placement is definitely going to be on point, but it's not going to be enough if sabihin talaga natin you're not going to be reacting just in time and sabihin talaga natin the frenzy rate of fire sobrang mahirapan talaga tayo to even counter that. Tulad na ginagawa natin dito, Beats throwing off in the Pangel, putting the killjoy in a really bad angle. He's going to be running for his life and the classic down to 60 HP. Of course, a few map control na makikita natin coming out from Brain Freeze, who's already on his way toward Showers, and still so far no info. Just gonna be trying to clear out the angles here on towards under hookah.
I mean, it's just a lineup that is very attack phase oriented coming in from Chimaera here. You can see a lot of zoning potential as Bright takes down Ripper and Brain Freeze takes down Bright in return over here, eventually closing out the round. Grabe yung zoning potential ng composition ng Chimaera here. You have that breach, you have that nade from Raze, and of course Paranoia and the Leer. So I won't be surprised if they just sort of try and steamroll this entire attack phase, right? But for Atlas, you know, they do have that killjoy to bank on. So let's see if they can maximize that sort of stall potential.
They will definitely have to this time around them. Kasi kung makikita natin dito, it could the decision that Chimaera actually played na they're gonna be sticking with the Spectre, like two players or agents rather, sticking on towards the Spectre, they would definitely be punished for this. But at the same time, I really want to see how this actually plays out on how their strats are gonna be going out. Probably a new like a few initial picks na makikuha nila dito on towards this game could actually be a huge opening na magagawa nila. Although Godor is not even gonna be successful in getting the frags early on towards U-Hauls. But of course, makikita niya on someone who's going to be waiting just outside showers and possibly the second one or the third. But of course, Clyde making a few frags out of himself as well. 2K already beat to the trade. And of course, Bry God po mukhang mapapunish for that aggression on towards showers. Brain freeze. Of course, we makikita natin ni Killjoy playing this one out on a 1v3.
I mean, I think at this point, Tim's just gonna try and save, right? I don't think he should be able to win out this 1v3 situation. It's gonna be a very tough win condition for him. And if I were Tim, I would just, straight up save. But Gado is really, really scary on that Reyna if he steamrolls just like that. Brain freeze closes out the round. But we now have a 3-0 scoreline for Chimaera. And despite having a gun disadvantage on the round, hindi sila na-punish lang, diba? We were expecting them to get punished due to that gun disadvantage, pero how the tables have turned, looks like Atlas will be forced to go on a sheriff round over here.
Definitely gonna be going on for the sheriff round. Pero nakikita ko itong mga plays na ginagawa ng Atlas. They are very much effective, even with just pistol upgrades that
Of
they've
course.
played. Yeah, I've definitely seen that so far. Pero ito talaga, I really want to see them like play around this more. I don't want them to be solely like parang doon talaga sila mag-rely. Like they've been successful in like hitting their shots, but this time around, it's just gonna be Ripper popping off the head of Tim. It seems like Hookah is completely off the table at the moment. We're gonna be left with Dre, who's gonna be going in for the info plays, possibly gonna be waiting for his team, going in for the retake. But seems like Chimaera is basically swarming on towards the side. Quick kill on towards the Reyna. There's Gadores being the first one to fall down, possibly the second, but good to think there's Ripper. Ang aabang lang dito. Pumukuha natin dito. Although Ripper already with a 3K and the fourth one to finish off the round.
It was a valiant effort from Atlas there, getting a lot of value from those sheriffs, making it quite a bit of an expensive round for Chimaera, but of course that gun advantage and those flights coming in from Beats just really opening up the site for the rest of the team to rotate in. But one thing that I'd like to note, Ling, is that Chimaera is just executing sort of textbook default strategies. They're not really doing something out of the box or creative. It seems like they're just winning the duels over Atlas as of this moment. Would you agree?
Yeah, I would definitely have to agree on that kasi consider like how their lineup is gonna be going so far. Makikita mo with the double duelist na makikita na they're solely gonna be relying on the frags that they need to actually get the openings. But good thing there's Pride though to actually shut down anyone coming out from them na magpupush on towards showers. But little does know, Little Beats is already on towards top box. Wong siya pa nga mapipitas and there's gonna be the second one going down. Clyde D already deleted off the map. 2v3 po. And it seems like the Reyna still has his Empress could possibly be online for them. But Sim though, of course, being the last person being alive here in this game, it seems like he's going to be going down so far and so quick in the hands of Gadores.
I mean, that round just passed by really, really quickly. Despite Bray getting a beautiful opening pick with that operator, gets traded out really fast, and it's gonna bite them back. Investing those 5,000 credits into that very expensive gun and losing it in a flash, right? So they're in a very, very tough, precarious situation here, and it just looks as if Chimaera is not slowing down whatsoever. Beat's gonna be on that operator, and I don't know, for some reason, if you don't have a jet, the Raze typically will be the one that holds the operator because you do have that mobility as well. So I'd like to see him sort of make use of that operator. Tim goes down though.
Ang mahirap lang talaga once you actually go for the operator plays on towards race is that it's not as mobile when you actually play this one out and denying the refrags na makukuha natin dito. It's not like it's not like it's gonna be the same race na makita natin na could possibly even have like the dash out to even deny the refrags race na gusto nila mangyari dito. But closer into engagement, Bry with the classic picking off one, and that's gonna be Beats' first one to fall down. Ripper though going in for the trade towards Bry, and mukhang we are already down to a 1v4. Isang napakabilis na round and pretty much a standard take naman coming out from Team Chimaera, putting this game on a 0-6.
Yeah, it's just those standard takes working out to their favor heavily because of the zoning potential that we were talking about earlier. You have Worship on that breach, clearing corners, flashing onto site, allowing the rest of his team to come through. And, they have basically, 3, 4, 5, 6 flashes at their disposal, including that Paranoia. And, of course, those paint shells, right? So
Mhm.
they could really explode onto site. And you have the Omen that can TP and jump over those, those traps, as well as Rays that can use those satchels to basically jump over any obstacles. So we do understand why those standard executes are working very well.
Standard executes na ginagawa ulit-ulit ng Team Kimar has been really effective kasi tulad ng sinabi mo kanina, they have a lot of agents that could actually make the plays a lot more easier for their team. Makikita natin that they have been able to actually fully disable the power angles na may utilize sana Team
Yeah.
Atlas to actually even contest or even try to put up a fight on whatever the pushes or aggression na Team Chimera is actually trying to do. There's literally no point or sabi talaga, there's literally no fight at all na makikita natin na Team Atlas has been definitely been successful at because sabihin na lang natin that they've been zoned off on a pretty bad angle and it's really hard to even force out an engagement kahit sabihin mo you're in a really bad position. It's like bad news for him and that's gonna make the kills a lot more easier for Team Chimera once na zone off mo yung kalaban or once na zone off mo yung whoever's even going in for the trades. Na dun sila nadadali and mahihirapan talaga sila to even get frags of their own.
30
Kasi
seconds left.
yun talaga, parang ang hirap makapwesto, ang hirap makaano to even prepare yourself to whatever's happening or whatever is about to happen.
Sobrang totoo yung sinabi mo, Ling, especially here in a map like Vine, sobrang ganda mag-raise. As they do try to make the entry here, looks like Dre and Yoshi will be making short work of Godot and Brain Freeze.
10 seconds left.
Mukhang sila po nga ang isang madali ang push dito coming out from Chimera and of course Atlas trying to utilize enough time as well. Although the spike is still gonna be planted, 2v2 na mangyayari. Killjoy committing out the lockdown is of course Ripper mukhang mag-aasim on towards CT and there's gonna be Bri completely punishing for holding off that single angle as much as he could. Tim though with the Phantom, it's fully aware the Omen is gonna be swinging on towards the left side and of course Beats is going to be going in for the last kill here in this game and clutching out the run for his team.
Beautiful clutch coming in from Beats right there. I actually thought it was going to be Atlas on the board for the first time throughout this game. But just taking a look at the scoreboard, phenomenal performance from Ripper and Beats. And of course, you can't discount Godot and of course the utility coming in from Worship. Despite him being bottom frag, you can't deny the value he brings to the table through those flashes and through those aftershocks as well. So really, really well played from Chimera. Just again, nothing out of the ordinary we're seeing. Just standard executes and great usage of utilities, boxing out their opponents and winning their duels.
Definitely going to be winning their duels because that has to be really essential in going in for the side takes. The frags that they need are basically going to be enough to make to even do and make enough openings for their teammates. And this is where Chimera actually understands the game very well. They definitely have to shut down everyone who's trying to make the job a little bit harder for them. And this is where they're actually are being successful. And kung makita natin dito, Ripper is actually really successful in making that for a team. Although he is going to get punished by Clyde, who's going to be waiting on towards CT entrance.
At this point in time, Chimera does have a showstopper in Rolling Thunder online. I wouldn't be surprised if they do let go one of those ultimates to secure this round, Ling.
They definitely have to do a lot more on Team Atlas. With the 0-7 score, playing out this retake is almost impossible, but they have to do whatever they can to at least damage out the economy na meron ngayon ng Team Chimera. They have a lot more savings, they'll have a lot more credits, but of course, Clyde D, mukhang ma-flash out pa nga, mamamatay sa paint shots, mukhang he's gonna be falling down once again.
Just so unfortunate, to be flashed for 10,000 years and then get thrown a paint shell just like that. There's absolutely nothing you can do. You're completely blind. By the time flash dissipates, you're already dead. So valiant effort from Clyde right there, taking down a couple of agents from Chimera, but just to no avail. At this point in time, Beats has been sustaining, that ownership of that operator. He's just, you can just make use of that operator, so much value.
He has put out a lot more value and well, of course naman talaga hindi mo talaga kailangan sasayangin yung 5,000 credits that you definitely have to be investing on certain gun kasi if you're not even getting the picks that you need, you're not even kung ganun naman din mangyayari sa plays nyo and there's literally no point if you are not even able to punish yung mga dry picks na ginagawa ng Team Chimera, which is something that's pretty unusual. We are definitely aware that they have 3 flashes that get fully utilized and actually support their their teammates, which is something that they have been playing around. So it's almost impossible for them to actually pick out the Rays and they're in a spot na he's gonna be the first one to even play for the contact because makikita natin dito, the Reyna and of course the Omen have been really successful on even making the openings that the team actually needs. And dun talaga sila like it actually makes a difference. Those impact frags are basically enough to even win the round so far for the team. Parang even getting at least one kill out of the entry is crucially enough. But it seems like here they're not going to be successful in the take just yet because Tim's going to be punishing one. Reyna being the first one to fall
30
down.
seconds
Although
left.
Rolling Thunder is going to be committed out of that. So far, no one is going to be playing for the side. Ripper is going to be picking off Tim here. Although huge push is coming out from the cyber cage, and Brain Freeze waiting on a cheeky angle is going to be going in for the 2K almost immediately. Bry spraying his way on towards Hukan. Mukhang Cloudburst is going to fully utilize on this. It seems like Worship on the high ground is going to be there to finish him off.
I mean, Godot is just absolutely fearless and trying to go for that entry frag, but he does usually time and time again just gets taken down by Tim, and despite being down one man, Chimaera just manages to get those multi-kills. And again, the beauty of their team composition is that even if they're down one man, sort of the autonomy of how their team composition works still shines through. Because if, for example, Godot goes down, or if Worship goes down, then they still have so many flashes and so on and so forth.
Ooh, this is where we actually see Atlas finally going in for the aggressive plays. Vim, kung saan
Yeah.
makikita natin they are actually actually
Kailangan nila
finally
gawin yun
managed to pick off the Reyna. I mean, finally, they actually woke up na, uy, kailangan natin gawin to. There's literally no point of us just letting everyone go on towards the side. We literally have to at least aggress at one point to even actually try to punish or caught them off guard. Kasi ina-anticipate talaga ng Team Chimaera for them to play out really passively. Although we are going to be seeing a Hunter's Fear being committed here. And of course, si Dre, makakuha ng isa. Although the trade there from Brain Freeze, given enough time and orbs, makakuha pa nga siya ng Eurothrap out of that and the information that Chimaera definitely needs out of this round.
Yoshi taking down Ripper though, but Beats is going to be on that frenzy, swaps out to that Phantom. Let's see if he can actually take a pick here. But at this point in time, Chimaera just seems like they're taking so much map real estate away from Atlas. It seems as if Atlas is sort of boxed into a small cubby.
Player standing. 30 seconds
They're,
left.
they're definitely boxed on into a small cubby
Right.
because they have little to no space to work around with. Makikita mo on how fast Team Chimaera is even going in for the side take. There's literally no time for Atlas to even reposition themselves or even rotate early enough. Nakikita mo, medyo nababagalan talaga tayo sa nangyayari dito. And Chimaera doesn't even want to let Atlas catch up to the pace that they're playing at. Sabihin natin the attackers are definitely dictating on how this play, like how the games are gonna go. Di mo, 0-9 na. Wala, hindi talaga nila pinabibigyan or at least naman pinapabayaan na to even have
Some
yung mga
breathing
maliliit
room
na
at
butas or
very
weakness. Yeah. Hindi nila binibigay yan, which is actually pretty good. Kasi 0-9, wag mo nang pabibigyan. Let's just finish it on really quick and really smooth. And, Tim actually managed to even get 2Ks out of that exit frag.
I think that was the first time that they were able to actually wipe out the entire team of Chimaera in these 10 rounds that just transpired very, very quickly. And again, Chimaera not having to do any sort of fake executes or rotates or anything fancy like that. Just basically committing onto site. And Blitzkrieg is the name of the game here for Team Chimaera. And with a lineup like this, I'm not surprised. And again, I just can't stop talking about the team composition because taking a look at this, it's also going to favor them very well in the second half. But it seems as if before we even get there, the game is almost done. Let's see if Beats can get an opening pick over here onto Long. Usually Godot gets picked out by Tim over here at B site though.
But mukhang wala pa pong magpipick dito. Although, makikita natin dito, Team Atlas, napaka-passive at mukhang there's gonna be Worship making an opening on towards mid-control at mukhang Clyde D being the first one to fall down at mukhang wala pa pong mabubuhay. It's just gonna be left with a Killjoy. Team committing the lockdown once again at mukhang sinusubukan nila upang matatake tong elbow but the Cyber is gonna be denying that info. Gadowers with the early swing at mukhang si Team po babagsak. Lockdown mukhang makakancel at mukhang si Bry aggressing his way on towards elbow. The Cyber kick denying the information na kinakailangan niya upang malalaman kung may mag-aabang ba sa gilid. Mukhang makikita niya ang barrel at mukhang brain freeze, mukhang mapapatay, mapapatumba at makikita pa nga niya ng isa, although the shots do not connect at all. Spray down sa isa, Cloud versus mukhang Yoshi with the showstopper. Beats makapatay gamit ang frenzy, and of course Brian trying to wipe out the server all on his own, also got doors on towards the corner at mukhang tatapusin na ang round na ito.
Again, they're just trying to get it done and over with as fast as possible. Chimaera absolutely relentless sila ngayon. And it seems like sobra linas ng post plant ng Chimaera ngayon. They're watching basically all angles. And I'd like to see Atlas sort of play for refrags more, perhaps play together more. Baka dapat may tipong body system at that point in time. Kasi parang isa-isa sila na pick off ng Chimaera sa ngayon.
Ito talaga ang problema ko so far. If they cannot even contest yung mga no mga pushes ginagawa ng Team Chimaera, the most that I could actually do is actually play for a 5-man retake. Kasi sabihin na lang natin, if hindi sila talaga masyado magbuboss ng utilities early point in the run, they could definitely try to save that now to at least naman, to at least may mapapalag sila from the retake. Napaka-importante nun. And sobrang importante talaga, you're not gonna be committing any point of mistake na ginagawa tulad ni Worship kanina with this flash at walang mapipitas, and there's gonna be Tim managing to get a few frags of his own. Mukhang fully aware na siya that there is gonna be someone who's, of course, there's gonna be people swarming on towards B side. Paranoia being on to play. Of course, Ripper could possibly even go in for the Guardian player, but he is gonna be waiting on towards the cross. Knows fully well there's gonna be a flight play and the spray done. Makakapitas pa ng isa, and that's the first round na makakuha ng Team Atlas.
Much needed point for Atlas there. Chimaera, para medyo naging kampante sila sa final round na yun. Unfortunately, medyo fragmented yung execute nila dun. They were all going in one by one. But that was pretty much the narrative for Atlas the entire game. Like, I feel like they weren't really cohesive as a unit. And again, tama ka yung sinabi mo, hindi nila makontest yung executes ng Chimaera. And parati silang -1 at the beginning of the round, right? And that's a thing. It's not because hindi malakas tumutok yung Atlas. I'm sure magaling sila tumutok. But the thing is, pag nagamit ng Chimaera yung utilities nila to the best of its ability, zone out na yung position ng Atlas. And if you're in a bad position, of course you're gonna lose that duel. Diba? So parang, basically yung narrative of this whole game. And that's why standard executes have been working out very well for Chimaera. Let's see though, coming into the second half, typically in a map like Bind, statistically, of course, it favors the defensive side, as with every map in Valorant so far. So, I won't be surprised if this would actually be a very decisive victory for Chimaera, but the game's not over yet.
But the game is not gonna be over yet. You're just about right about that, Vim. Pero kung tutuusin naman, isang madali ang -1 naman nagaganap coming up from Team Atlas. So, mukhang wala na silang info play na mangyayari dito. But seems like Beats, mukhang he could actually hear the footsteps and could actually get traded off here. But that's a really good kill coming out from the paint shells. But 1-1. 3-4 na po. 3 versus 4 rather. Yes. So, brain freeze, showers play once again. Mukhang the defenders are acting like as if they're attackers at this point.
Parang medyo nalito na ako dun. I was like, okay.
Sobrang magkaiba ng play nila ngayon eh.
Very interesting.
Very interesting indeed how they're playing things out or how they even try to position themselves so far in the game. Binibigyan nilang side. It seems like they're actually gonna be solely relying on this retake here. Although Ripper, makikita natin, aggressing on towards the walls. Not really knowing. Of course, si Bray, mukhang hindi din po siya lilingon just in time. Smoking himself, just going in for the defuse. Paranoia play upang hindi makakaspray ang kuya natin na si Killjoy. He's trying to be a little bit undecisive on whatever to do next. But good thing he has that swarm grenade to actually secure a round for Team Atlas.
Perfect use of Nano Swarm right there. Very, very clutch for Atlas. Again, at this point in time, they cannot afford to lose any round, rather, of course, because yung scoreline natin ay 2-11. Pero, at this point in the game, Chimaera can't be, they have to remain vigilant. They can't let their guard down. Kasi, those little mistakes, parang kanina, sabi mo nga, parang naging attackers sila kahit na sila yung defending. So, I don't think they can afford to do that because, of course, Atlas is still a very competent team, I'm sure, despite having a tough time throughout this entire match.
Well, possibly mag-iinit pa lang mga coin natin from Team Atlas, just like how they're actually doing here on towards Hookah. The bucket plays aren't not gonna be effective here this time around because the Spectres will prevail once and for all. Dre entering his way on towards B. Lot mukhang B side is gonna be completely swarmed from players from Team Atlas. Seems like they're trying to play the play and redemption here because a few aggressions here and there is definitely gonna be paying off tulad ng ginagawa ni Yoshi na kung saan makakapitas pa siya ng isa 5v2 Daks. Tulad na rin kinakita natin kanina, Atlas had a really bad hard time contesting for the angles or the executes na ginagawa ng Team Chimaera, but this time around makita mo talaga how the tables have turned so far, and seems like we're very hopeful in what Atlas can do more once they actually play for their attacking side.
Again, that was the pistol round and the post-pistol round. Very well played from Atlas, maximizing every point they can get on the board. But for Chimaera, this is pretty much going to dictate the rest of the pace of the game, as it's going to be a full buy round. I believe. Oh no, they actually forced on that second round, right? So looks like at this point they're going to be on shotguns and stingers, right? With the gun advantage, going to be in favor of Atlas here. So this could be another point for them. Let's see what
Possibly
goes
another
down.
point. We're definitely gonna be seeing what's gonna go down because kung makikita natin sa feed, si Worship po ang unang babagsak. Seems like Gado is gonna get that spray from Yoshi. Saan? Siya pa ang unang babagsak at nga, dalawa ng pipitas ng kuya natin dito. There's the rotation from Team Chimaera. Ito na talaga. It's like, sobrang magkaiba na ngayon because Chimaera is basically like what Atlas is doing kanina. Late rotations, basically little to no effort to at least contest for Hookah or at least contest for at least the side pick na ginagawa ng kalaban nila. And seems like the aggressive plays once again is gonna be paying off slower for Team Atlas. Although, it's sasabihin natin, they haven't really invested so much in that run, but it's a really good way to actually shut down and bring back the economy and of course, bring back the momentum on towards their side.
Looks like rifles will be abound for Team Chimaera as well as Team Atlas. So this will dictate the pace of the rest of the game, right? Taking a look at the scoreline, they really brought it back coming into this second half. But I'm really curious as to what Chimaera will bring to the table coming in right here.
Coming here on towards this game. Although 4-11 na ang score of him, but it seems like it's gonna be a buy run coming up from both. Seems like I really was expecting Atlas to do a lot more. To do a lot more slower like map control or at least deny the map control na ginagawa ng Team Chimaera. Kasi alam na nilang information na ginagawa. They pushed up all the way outside showers, so they would definitely know na kinakailangan talaga to even go in for the rotation. Tulad ng ginagawa nila dito, that they could actually go in for another pick dito sila Gado sa out of that frag na nakuha nila coming from Bilong. But seems like they're gonna be fully aware someone's gonna be playing from Hookah, and that's gonna be Clyde picking off worship in the process of going in towards that peak. They might actually go in towards that exit, on towards P. But kung makita natin sa mapa, Spike is still nowhere near anyone. Wala pang sights na nakakuha. Brain Freeze is still gonna be alive to at least contest for A site. And so far, Atlas has not been successful even getting the few openings. Like, they have managed to even go in for the lurk, but they have not even opened the site just yet. A few bodies here and there, it's not gonna be enough. Kasi kung makikita natin
30
dito,
seconds left.
nabibilang nila ang oras nila. It's 30 seconds left on the clock. Omen, mukhang may ultimate pa siyang na pwedeng magagamit, but seems like it's like a 1v3.
I think at this point it's going to be futile if he uses that Omen TP, right? You got Godot lurking over there at B site. But the thing is, di ba Ling, coming into the first few rounds of the second half, they were able to overpower Chimaera. But the thing is, they don't have the same explosive team composition as Chimaera. So they can't really replicate the same sort of executes that Chimaera was doing on the first half. So they're going to have to play for picks and capitalize on those opening picks and try to open up a site that way. Because I feel like the team composition of Atlas is going to be dictating a much slower pace. And Chimaera, you know, they're not afraid to play fast, and they want the opponent to play at their pace, which is going to be really fast. It's going to be to their advantage, right? So I'm not surprised if they will still be in control of the pace of this match.
They really have to regain control, Vim. Kasi ito, ang hirap na makikita because Team Chimaera is already up to match point. And so far, wala pa rin nasasagot ang Team Atlas besides a few rounds. Sabihin talaga natin, we're actually pretty shaky at this point. Kahit sabihin natin they won a few rounds, but it was really, sabihin natin, a really important one in terms of like their economy. So kung makikita natin dito, they are still gonna be contesting the Hookah. Finally, may masasagot ng Chimaera for that push. Yung ginagawa nila pa ulit-ulit on towards B. And a really quick one, I might say.
Yeah.
4-13. Basically, ang bakbakan, puros na nangyayari sa Hookah just a while ago. And a really successful one, I might say. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely agree with you there, Ling. Very dominant, decisive victory for the side of Chimaera. And again, it's one of those matches na parang I think it's very evident na parang the difference when it comes to team composition, especially noticing the fact that Chimaera is starting on the attack phase and they have a very attack-oriented team comp that they were able to maximize and perhaps practice so much in the past before. They were playing their comfort picks. We know Beats and Gado on how proficient they are on those agents, of course. But again, very valiant effort from Atlas. You know, Chimaera is a really tough team to face. And, you know, just really refreshing to see new faces here in the Valorant PH scene.
Honestly, I'm actually pretty surprised on how this team is actually playing out so far. Diba sinabi ko kanina, I was anticipating a Sage pick kasi I've seen how these players actually play around that so much. How Team Atlas did. But this time around, parang it's kind of unusual they actually did a Killjoy pick, which is honestly parang nafe-feel ko they're not comfortable playing around that. They're not comfortable having like a different sentinel to even defend for Hookah. Kasi nakikita mo doon, even though he did try to even set up his utilities, even set up his like swarm grenades and pretty much everything, like binuhos niya ng lahat, it's still not gonna be enough. And sabihin talaga natin, it wasn't like the same explosive gameplay that I've seen a few days ago coming out from Team Atlas. Nahirapan sila doon, which is honestly not what hindi ako sanay na ganun nakikita ko from Team Atlas. Like, mechanically wise, I'm pretty sure that they're capable of that. Pero ang problema,
no question about that.
Ang problema, tulad ng i-mention mo, is most basically yung utilities that they have to deal with na that would completely deny them from that duels na sabihin talaga natin that they should be taking. Utilities, zoning off, wala. Basically, wala na silang magagawa doon.
Yeah, absolutely agree with you there. It seems as though Atlas is just not prepared in the sort of current meta that Chimaera is used to playing. That remains to be seen coming into the second match. Kung paano sila mag-adjust. Again, this is going to be a best of 3 series, yes? So parang they do have time, sort of a tactical pause here to try and figure something out at the very last minute if they can take a map against Chimaera. Because obviously, mechanically, they are capable of holding their own against a team like Chimaera. But strategically, it might be a different story. So do you have anything else?
Definitely going to be a different story.
Do you have anything else to say about the previous match, Lee?
For the previous match, honestly, not really so much. But I really do hope that we would make the right decision so far in terms of their lineup, in terms of their decision making as early as now. Kasi sasabihin natin map pick talaga to ng Chimaera, fine. But I really want to see them like step up a little bit naman kahit sa Haven because we're not gonna be letting this one play out on the 2-0. So yeah.
Again, ang Atlas nakita natin, they've done amazing things over at Haven. We've seen them, Daks and I have casted them on Haven, and they've done some incredible performances there. So I can't wait to get to that in just a bit. But before that, we're going to be tossing you over to our two lovely-looking hosts, Laika and Cloud with the peace sign. Back to you.
Thank you so much, Vyminal and Ling. Alam mo, I would have to say that I do agree with both of our casters. Sayang sana nag-tactical pause nga kanina yung Atlas doon. Kasi sometimes, for those of you who are watching na hindi pa informed kung ano yung tactical pause, you basically as a team can get up to a minute of pause para mag-reset kayo, mag-realign kayo kung ano ba yung plano nyo. And alam mo, meron kasing ganun na habang in-game ka, pag kunyari tuloy-tuloy yung talo mo, di ba? Parang kailangan mong ibalik yung confidence mo.
Siguro, para sa Atlas, ang mindset nila, hindi. Let's fake it till we make it. Parang ilaban natin ng ilaban. You know what? It was, I would say, a bad game. Like, I agree with our casters na parang mechanically, kayang-kaya nila sumabay. They can go head-to-head. Pero it's just a matter of maybe it was a bad game.
Kulang pa rin nga kasi daw sa paggamit nga ng utilities So, that's something that they'll have to work on and we're hopeful that in the next game, makabawi pa tong Atlas.
Lucky
diba?
for them, best of 3 to. So,
Parang may MVP tayo this game. Grabe nga naman ang prod team natin dito sa KDR Tournament Series. So, ang ating MVP of this game is from Chimaera, si Ripper, ang ating Omen player.
grabe naman yan. Siya yung Pog.
Look at that.
Look at
21
that, 21.
kills. 6 assists. 15 deaths with an econ rating of 68.
68?
Tipid na
Grabe.
tipid
Tipid na tipid talaga yan. Ang galing. Tipid na tipid, pero itong event na to,
Hindi tinipid. Ganda na na.
Sabi yun, di ba? Okay yun, di ba?
Ayan, syempre hindi nga tayo tinipid dahil meron tayong mga special sponsors who made all of this happen.
And sponsors like Globe at Home. With Globe at Home, you can recreate the world right at home.
And syempre, andito na rin ang ating official PC partner, walang iba kundi ang Legion Philippines and Intel. Stylish on the outside, savage on the inside.
And of course, this stream is powered by X Split. And this event is brought to you by Valorant PH and Valorant Rising.
Ayan guys, napaka-exciting. Pero huwag kayong mag-alala, 'di ba? First game pa rin yun. Best out of 3 series ito. Kaya pwede pang makabawi tong Atlas and who knows, baka umabot pa tayo ng game number 3.
Actually, baka mamaya para for Atlas, it's just, hayaan lang natin. Ito yung deathmatch natin. First game, sige. Bawi tayo second and third.
Ano kayo? May oras pa kayo para mag-download? 'Di ba? Parang pag-aralan nyo, ano ba yung mga mistakes natin sa game na yon and how can we recover for game number 2?
Possibly. Yup. And,
Eto.
Ano?
Hindi man nanalo yung Atlas sa game na yon. Pero yung viewers natin, tingin mo pwede manalo?
Sabi yun. Okay din yun. Okay din yun. Gusto ko yun. Tamang-tama, hindi man nanalo yung Atlas sa game number 1. Pero kayo may chance kayo every round, every game actually, na manalo ng giveaways natin. And I think this time around, it's gonna be the headset or the keyboard.
We'll just have to wait and see later. Pero for sure naman, meron tayong 500 pesos worth of GCash na pwedeng ipamigay, Legion Gaming Keyboard, gaming mouse na M500 as well, and the H300 gaming headset. Tapos meron pa tayong XSplit licenses to give away. So, for those of you na nanalo na rin kanina, gusto lang namin ipaalam sa inyo na mag-antay lang kayo. Meron tayong representative dito sa Valorant PH na magko-contact sa inyo para masabi kung paano nyo pwedeng i-claim yung prizes nyo. So just sit tight. It may not be today. Syempre, focus muna tayo sa tournament natin today. Pero rest assured, darating rin yan.
Tama.
Patience is a virtue.
Patience is a virtue. At makukuha nyo yun. Isipin nyo na lang.
Worth the wait.
Worth the wait. Pag nakuha nyo yung GCash na yan, yung 500 pesos na yun, mali mo mag-inflate bigla. Maging 700 na yung value
May
niya.
ganon.
May ganon. Possible yun.
Ang daming alam ni Cloud.
De joke lang. 500 pa rin yan. Okay.
Sige na guys. We'll see you guys after the break. Coming up next, game number 2 for Chimaera versus Atlas.
$525,600 $525,000 more so dear. $525,600 How do you measure a fear? In daylight, in sunsets, in midnight, come
2020. Grabe, kung iisipin ko, there's so many more things that we can do with 5G. In so many industries, like automotive industry, you have self-driving cars, we always talk about that. And logistics, you got drones flying all over, delivering packages. Sobrang galing na, no, Janina? She is no longer with us. 1G started back in the 80s, and back then you could only do analog voice calls. 4G is like you're on a 2-lane highway, you're in your sedan, driving along with other cars. But 5G, you're in a 10-lane highway in your sports car. Parang kasama ka sa crowd, no? Without physically going to the store.
Ooh! Self-driving cars? I wouldn't need to get my license anymore.
A drone could actually deliver a package straight to you.
Parang gusto ko na mag-fast forward into the future.
I will swear to mo because the future is closer than ever.
Practice that a lot, no?
We are back again to bring you more Valorant content.
Yon.
Actually, hindi siya content.
Valorant action.
Valorant action.
Action.
Intense action.
Yes, sir.
action-packed Valorant games.
Okay ka na.
Mas okay yun. Gusto ko lang
Final
mas
answer.
malinaw. Final answer na yun. Pero, bago tayo pumunta doon, again, may mga nanalo na naman.
Okay.
May mga nanalo na naman.
Parang ako hindi makapaniwala eh. No?
Di ba?
Oh.
Actually,
Diretso na tayo kasi may action talaga tayo
May
dito.
action talaga.
So,
Oo.
congratulations sa nanalo sa ating XSplit licenses. Ayan na nga. Congratulations kay Maria Daniela, Lorenzo Torres, Mimi Santos, John Brian Ortiz, and Samuel Macanigono.
grabe yan. 5 XSplit licenses for 3 months. Isipin mo,
Yes,
3 months.
sulitin nyo yan, guys. Napakaganda ng XSplit as a live streaming software. So, itry nyo na yan ngayon. Total, makukuha nyo na very soon yung inyong licenses. And, para sa mga nananalo, gusto ko lang ulitin, i-PM nyo yung page. Ayan, para ma-verify nila na kayo yung giveaway winners. And, hintay-hintay lang kayo. They may not be able to reply at once, pero promise ko sa inyo, magre-reply rin yung ating mga moderators dyan.
Yeah, hindi kagaya nung crush nyo na minsan di na magre-reply.
Ay, may hugot. Sinong nanakit sa'yo?
Biro lang yun. Pero at least alam nyo, yung Valorant laging magre-reply sa inyo. Yung people.
Wow, Valorant di kayo iiwan.
Valorant di kayo iwan. Exactly. Pero bago ang lahat, again, we're gonna thank our sponsors.
Hindi rin tayo iiwan ng sponsors.
Hindi rin tayo
natin.
iiwan ng
At
sponsors.
hindi rin natin sila iiwan.
Exactly.
Ayan, so special thanks to Globe at Home. With Globe at Home, you can recreate the world right at home.
And of course, the official PC partner for KDR Tournament Series is of course Legion Philippines and Intel. Stylish outside, savage
Paulit-ulit
inside.
lang yung hand gesture ko
Exactly.
dyan. Kasi,
And sabi nga dun sa giveaway, this stream is powered by XSplit. And this event is brought to you by Valorant PH and Valorant Rising.
yes! Alam mo, speaking of XSplit, actually, di ako sure, nanguhula lang ako. Pero baka sakto na split din yung mapa natin ngayon.
Sakto ba?
Hindi ko alam.
Mas magaling ka dun. Kung sakto, kung split nga yung mapa ngayon,
sakto,
sakto
calculated yun. Yun yung tinatawag nating calculated.
Well played yan.
guess.
Well played yan. Well played yan. At
Mali.
muntik na.
Mamaya pa pala.
Third map, Haven.
Haven. Kasi nga naman, with the help of our sponsors, feeling ko nasa Haven
ka na.
ako.
Ah,
Ayoko na. Last ko na yun, guys. Hindi na mauulit.
Tigilan na natin to.
Tinatry lang lumusot.
Tigilan na natin to.
Yes. Pero ito, guys, dito sa larong to, map number 2 for Atlas pick naman this time is Haven. Map number 1, Chimaera yung namili. They dominated.
Dominated. And Haven, malay natin kung ganun ulit or is it...
I mean, with the Atlas pick, feeling ko mas confident naman sila this time around. And hopefully, mas makita natin silang mag-perform dito.
Sana naman, para mapasok talaga natin yung banat mo sa split. Kasi
Oo.
sayang naman yung pinag-isipan mong joke doon sa split kung hindi aabot sa split, di ba?
Grabe ka sa akin.
So,
Grabe.
I think, I'm hoping for Atlas to actually to really come back
Siyempre
in this
naman, kasi, wala lang naman, hindi naman sa wala lang. Siyempre may prize money tayo dito. 120,000 yung prize pool natin. Hindi maliit na numero yan.
Yeah,
pero, siyempre gusto rin natin yung action.
Oo, and
Gusto ko nakikita na palaban din tong team na to.
isipin mo, the teams are looking more than just, for the money. But, the pride eh.
Oh.
Siyempre, nandyan yung kami yung champion ng
Imagine
event
mo,
na to.
papasok ako sa isang kwarto.
Oo.
Yo, what's up? I am the first champion of the KDR Tournament Series. Angas, diba?
Exactly.
Angas!
Exactly.
Pero syempre, hindi ako yun. Hindi totoong
Oo.
ako yun.
Kung sino man yung mananalo ng event na to, ganun yung sasabihin niya, hey, yo, what's up? I'm the champ. Who's the champ?
I'm the champ.
Diba? Ganun
Ayan. We're getting carried away, guys. Kasi we're really rooting for both of the teams here dahil gusto namin talaga yung performance. Yung magaling na laban. Good Valorant action right here. Pero, dyan na tayo. Let's move on to Haven.
Haven. At tingin ko yung mga casters natin have less cringe-worthy banats.
I hope so. Unless na lang batiin na naman tayo ni Vyminal na, hello po, mga kaibigan. We'll see. So without further ado, Vyminal and Ling, take it away.
Greetings, citizens of the World Wide Web. My name is Vyminal. Ako nga pala si Ginoong Vyminal. And kasama ko po si Binibining.
Link.
Yes. That is your cue to state your name.
Anyway, huwag ka mag...
Ba't
Huwag
kayo
kayo mag-
tumatawa?
It's always
Ba't
the
kayo
intro.
I prepared these intros, okay? Okay.
Mukhang
Moving on.
pinag-iisipan mo talaga yun. Kanina pa, Abim, for the whole time that you were gone. Although, yeah, don't worry, like, I really do hope as well
Okay.
na hindi masasayang yung joke mo sa split. Alam mo, hindi ko alam, ano ba
That's
meron sa
actually a real good
studio
joke.
ngayong araw?
There's something in the air. There's something in the air in the studio right now. But we're about to go into Haven, Ling. And
Okay.
Atlas, historically, they've done some incredible things in this
Say
map
no.
against some formidable teams in the previous brackets. Again, they're the top 4 for a reason. So hindi natin dapat mamaliitin ang Atlas. Of course, they're here for a reason, and I'm not surprised if they're going to be playing a similar composition to what they played in the previous map, which was Bind.
Oh my God.
They tend to play a lot of Killjoy and a lot of Jet, so that remains to be seen. But we're getting ready to take a look at the agent picks for Chimaera. What do you think
Well,
it's gonna be?
honestly, Vim, inaasahan ko naman sa kanila din na lalabas pa rin tong breach coming out from, lalabas pa rin tong breach para sa kanila sana ngayong gabi. But of course, like for duel, ito talaga yung magma-make or break day. I'm a lot more concerned with their duelist choices for tonight. We could definitely see a Reyna or Jet duo here, or possibly, tulad ng ginagawa nila, switch change of like their decision when it comes to like the second duelist. If may mag-jet or may magre-raise pa sa kanila. But then again, a lot more could still happen in terms like how Chimaera is actually gonna go, and raise. Yun,
Right.
nilabas na nila at mukhang dito na nga magkakaalaman on how this duo is actually gonna be going. Will they be effective then on defender side? Will I be
Yep.
seeing like the standard Chimaera play tulad ng ginagawa that I've seen before, or will they actually play this one really differently? Kasi it's not the usual meta picks na Vim na we've seen just a while ago with that usual breach. Diba kita mo? It's Sova for info. Controller Sentinel sa makikita natin dito. And it's not really what I've been used to so far on how we play on Haven, but it's a lot more that we're a lot more to offer for a team like Team Chimaera to give their best and put this like basically shut down Atlas as much as they could.
Now, this is, coming into Chimaera, just talking about it really quickly before talking about Atlas picks here. Gadot over there on Reyna is very, very standard for them. Of course, they have that raise. Still equally explosive with that Omen by Ripper. But again, wala silang breach. And typically, in a map like Haven, you'd expect to see Jet, you'd expect to see breach, right? But we'll see what Atlas brings to the table. I won't be surprised kung may Killjoy. Yes, Tim will be on that Killjoy again. We've seen them do this before, and it worked out very well for them. Let's see if they can pull it off against a team like Chimaera. Yoshi's going to be on that raise as well. Dre on that Sova. I won't be surprised if wala silang Cypher dito because meron na silang Killjoy. So hindi naman nagdo-double Sentinel usually. Clyde over here with the Omen and Bri on that Phoenix.
Uy.
I like this. I like the team comp so far.
So far naman, it looks a lot more promising than what I expected. I really want to see a lot more like aggressive plays coming up from Bri. Kasi nakikita natin yan so far. They didn't like anyone on their team didn't basically like pop up on their own. And map pick nila. And sasabihin talaga natin they really have to like give us a really good game.
Yeah.
We're not gonna like let this one on a one-sided series. We really want to see how like what Atlas can offer to the table. It's
Yes.
not just gonna be letting Chimaera just let this slide off to a 2-0. At least naman put up a fight and give us a really good game to watch.
Yeah, I mean, I have to agree with you there. And according to the lovely people in chat, according to them, this is going to be Atlas' first major tournament. So this is their first foray into the Valorant PH circuit. So we have to understand that they're facing these powerful teams for the first time. And napakaganda na pinakita nila so far coming into the Final Four. So let's see if they can make this a really good match, and hopefully we get to see a Game 3. But the game is underway here. See long aggression link.
Silong aggression, of course, the standard pick, and of course, picking Zito and the aggression on towards the backside. Although Chimaera Beats is able to actually tag out one, Dre is gonna be there for the refrag once again. C4, the spike rather, is going in on its way, and the postman coming out from Team Chimaera. Although no one is gonna be crossing their way on towards Silong, there's a three-man site default positionings here, but Rainfried so is gonna be getting that information with that recon, but kung saan he is able gonna be spotting off two. There's the Boombot being spotting off one, and Gadowers with the frenzy doing wonders so far. He's gonna be overhealed, so that's gonna be a lot more HP to play around with. Yoshi with a lucky tap on towards the smoke is gonna be able to deny the defuse to happen, but good thing there's gonna be another person to actually finish off the round, and that's gonna be the first one going to Team Chimaera.
Grabe naman yung retake na yun, Link. Sobrang swabe ng retake na yun. Pretty much 3 to 4K just instantaneously coming in from Godot Brain Freeze, and I believe that was Beats, right? That's crazy.
Well, it is. It's like as expected of them. Honestly, we are definitely gonna be seeing Team Chimaera like a giant, basically. Going up against like a team like Atlas. I'm not saying that they're small, but I'm
Right.
saying like experience wise, I would definitely. We have definitely seen a lot of plays from Team Chimaera, and Atlas. We don't really know what to expect yet. Sa kanila, kasi it's like a lot more different than what like I'm actually expecting in the first place. But then again, I don't want to see them like make this another Chimaera sided match, but more on like how they're actually gonna be giving us a good game. How is this not gonna be more of a like sabihin natin more of less like aim duel, so the nangyayari dito on mid isang mabilisan like
As we say that though, a
contesting for
flawless
pistols?
victory. Yeah.
what that was so quick, honestly. Parang no one from Team Chimaera actually died from that.
Yep, that was a flawless round for Chimera. They did have the gun advantage, and they did make full use of that. Now, perhaps 3 of them will be going on those full rifles, with a couple of them on maintaining that post pistol round buys. Pero itong si Dre, naka-half armor lang siya for Team Atlas. So medyo nakakatakot rin for Team Atlas, but they do have the gun advantage still. So they have to make something happen here. Otherwise, they're going to be down for the count yet again.
They do not. They actually cannot afford this one to even lose another one against a team like Team Chimaera. See, this could possibly be their last game on towards KDR series. They're just
Yes.
really hoping for more for like another map to actually for them to play out against. But still, it still looks promising so far coming out from this mid control. So far, no one is going to be picked off just yet coming out from their team. Although makikita natin Team Chimaera has already aggressed their way on towards A lobby. Now, son, the Reyna is actually anticipating that angle. But while I was talking, Bri actually managed to at least get the initial frag in this game, and the team is actually inclining more on towards this B side take. But of course, this might not actually be ideal given the positionings that Team Chimaera currently has. There's gonna be the recon wall pulling out the information, but Yoshi though is gonna be able to pick off one. Beats is gonna be praying and spraying on towards the smoke, tries to at least anticipate whatever angles that Team Atlas is gonna be coming against in. Although the postman situation is still gonna be on its way, Tim is actually managing to at least pick one out of that swarm grenade. Brian managing to at least get a few frags as well. Satchel plays to actually zone him off as well, but Atlas finally getting the bomb plant, and of course the first round is gonna be going towards their favor.
Yeah, they definitely needed to win their round, because if they lost that round, they're going to go for another eco. But, Bri getting that opening pick and maintaining that man advantage, they played it slow, and that sort of worked out. Again, they're trying to dictate the pace of the game by playing it a bit slower, which is, I think, a bit more of their pace. And it worked out very smoothly. Parang hindi sila nagmadali eh. Usually, pag nakapatay ka ng opening pick, mga ibang teams nagmamadali agad. Sometimes you just gotta play it slow, gotta play it smart, maintain that man advantage. But Chimaera is just bringing the fight to them as I say that.
Well, it is definitely not gonna be a pace that Team Chimaera actually wanna play out, because they don't want to dance that beat, and as much as possible, we're not gonna be playing around that. Team Chimaera definitely knows what to do this time around, and kung makikita natin dito, it's already a 3v5 at this point in time. The aggression definitely did pay off coming out from Gadowers on towards that mid counter, to even counter the mid control na gustong mapapatupad ng Team Atlas, and it's a good way to start things out. But kung makikita natin dito, we actually are gonna be seeing the Killjoy going solo on his own, going in for the side take on towards A, and Gadores is gonna be punishing him for that with literally no trades coming up from his teammates, who's really very far away on towards A sewers. Brain freeze though with the Bulldog. I've seen a lot of plays coming out from here. Of course, they hedge an angle that he's definitely gonna be taking, and the quick 2K on towards A short. In the third round, it's gonna be going for Team Chimaera.
Yeah, it seems like a very disgruntled effort with that Killjoy wandering onto A side alone with no trades to be seen in sight. Most of his teammates were just very far back in A lobby as he was already entering the side alone. And typically when you do that, you would essentially split between short and long. But that didn't really work out as planned, it seems. So I think perhaps a bit more cohesion is in need here for the side of Atlas.
Medyo nahihirapan din ako makita na coming out from their place, there really isn't much structure na on what they're doing. They're basically just inaasahan talaga nila na at least may mapipitas sila. And that's not how Valorant is supposed to be played all the time. Like, yes, it's somewhat effective if you're constantly winning your duels, but this time around, if dun lang nagpapalibot yung mga plays nyo, dun na kayo mahihirapan. Because labanan ng utak to, labanan ng utilities, it's still Valorant. You have a lot of abilities to play around with, play with, and of course, Chimaera has definitely shown that to us. Every time you play for attackers, there really has to be something that makes sense on what you're trying to do. Tulad ng ginagawa natin dito, Worship actually plays off really well with the Bucky here. And of course, the garage hold. Yoshi, though, getting a few frags of his own on towards that B aggression. Although we are going to be triggering enough rotation here. And of course, Team Atlas might actually play this one out really differently, knowing fully well, or little do they actually know, that there's literally no one who's going to be playing on towards A side. 3 people still alive coming up from Team Chimaera. The bomb is currently planted on towards A side, and possibly a post-ban situation in a retake is about to happen here, with the Recon bot still online coming out from Sova.
Noong mahihirapan mag-retake yung Chimera dito because of their health discrepancy. 3 HP na lang sa Brain Freeze, and he does go down with a single shot from that Sheriff.
One player remaining.
Yoshi, though, making the plays for Atlas. Time and again, feeling ko standout player si Yoshi tsaka si Tim from their team.
They definitely have to stand up a little bit more in this game. 3-2. We definitely have to close in the gap, or at least naman put out a little
put up
bit
a fight.
more than what they're used to. Kasi kahit sabihin mo it's just 2 people, it's still a 5-man team na kailangan natin naaasahan to win the game for us. To win the game for us, Vim. It's like we're not really used to we're not really used to a game of Valorant expecting just 1 or 2 people expecting go in for the frags, because it's still everyone out there that still have to win their own duels, because we're not going to be just letting all the weight go into the yards of their main duelists, like the Raze and the Phoenix, because that's not going to be good news. It's hard when the opposing team is actually going to be fully aware of that. The only objective so far in the route is it's just going to be them focusing on 1 or 2 players, and doon talaga makikita ng butas, doon makikita ng weakness, tulad na ginagawa nila dito on towards the C-side take, na kung saan isang mabilisan, although Hunter's Fear is gonna be committed just to even delay the bomb plan here. Ripper is gonna be getting a few frags where he's gonna be denying the post-ban situation on towards Garage, although he's down to 46 HP. For 3v4 po nangyayari ko. The Ors is gonna be committing his Empress, playing that hitting shots with the Phantom, not really hitting the first rounds up. It seems like he's going to be creating their lair to even go in for the short range flash. He's not going to be getting anything out of that, but good thing this Brain Freeze, who's going to be trying to at least go in for the retake on his own. The smoke is definitely going to be going into his favor. He still has a lot of utility to play with. Of course, he's fully aware that the Sova is playing in for close. He could actually try to at least hold on this defuse,
very nice
but
try.
Rai is going to be going for that wall bang to finish him off.
Don't you just hate it to be in that situation, Ling? Na it's planted for long. It's a 1v2. Hindi mo alam kung naka-crossfire sila, or perhaps dalawa sila dun sa long, and there's literally nothing you can do except try to half the bomb and then mawawall bang ka dun. It's just it's just so frustrating. But Gado on that big flank, to no avail, sayang. If only he would have downed that Phoenix and eventually snowballed onto that Empress. That was a really good flank, but unfortunately just didn't work out as planned. Over here, it looks like they're going to go on a light buy for the side of Chimaera. So Atlas could make use of this and try to get as many points as they can, especially on the attacking side. If they're more comfortable on defensive, we don't know, right? Sometimes I think historically Chimaera is way stronger on attacks because of their sort of aggressive playstyle. So that remains to be seen
Well,
later on. Yeah.
I mean, regardless of whatever position you put Chimera in, masyado sila naging effective on whatever ano, because makikita mo talaga that they know a lot more better on how to at least outplay what Atlas is trying to do. Basically, yung ginagawa lang na Atlas, I mean, it actually makes sense for you to actually find the openings to even make side takes a lot easier kasi three sides to, ang hirap mag-defend with four people left alive. So, dun talaga sila nagsisolely rely on. Pero kung makikita mo na ginagawa nila this time around, they're not gonna be giving the openings that they need tulad ng ginagawa nila dito. Although Worship getting the 2K with the Bucky, the quick trade-off coming up from Yoshi with that push is definitely gonna be paying off so far because they're literally nowhere near any side. And the time pressure na binibigay natin sa kanila is just 30 seconds for
30
them to
seconds
left or
left.
like to
One
play
player
around with.
remaining.
Oh
What
my
good
God.
things there's Gadowers to actually pick off one with the Bucky. Clyde D, mukhang mapapawalang bisa ang teleporter mo dun.
Mukhang sulit-sulit yung light buy nila dito. Although Yoshi does take down Gado. It's gonna be a 1v2 situation. 14 seconds left on the clock. Still a very winnable condition. Pero may showstopper. May showstopper yung Chimaera. So tinan natin yung gamitin nila dito. And there's nothing you can do when there's a rocket flying straight to your face, Ling.
So, sobrang ano talaga. Ito, even though they did go for the light buy, sabihin talaga natin na they really know how to play around those guns. That, like, unexpected talaga na may mag-a-aggress on towards Silong. And alam talaga ng Team Chimaera na that Atlas barely even plays for it unless they go in for the full side commit. Which is actually great na nakakuha sila ng early info and yung mga isang madali ang pitasan doon because it actually put them to their, like actually shift the round back to like their favor. It didn't really go like sabi na it didn't really look so good with the Bucky plays that we've seen earlier, but that huge impact kills, 2 kills was actually more than enough. Actually 1 kill nga yung kinakailangan, but he actually got 2 and malaking bagay din coming up from a team that only has Buckies and little to no utilities to actually play around with.
Yeah, perhaps a bit too slow on that trade frag for the side of Atlas. Pero kita-kita dito yung tama yung observation mo doon, Ling eh. Yung Chimaera, kinakita yung leverage na when it comes to overall experience in the Valorant scene in general. Kasi so far, yung buong squad ng Chimaera, kita-kita na gumagawa sila ng plays. All, each and every one of them. Pero yung Atlas, they're based on their movement, their map rotation, it feels like they have this sort of herd mentality that they're bunching up together and waiting for their duelists to make a play. But you have Chimaera who plays sort of autonomously throughout the whole map. And I think we can see that here. Oh my god, Worship with the
Worship?
3K.
Oh my god, those quick headshots and then really clean ones from that Silong push ng galing from Team Atlas was basically enough. They were lining up for Worship, but mukhang they're gonna be out for more blood. Gadowers mukhang he doesn't want to be missing out all on the action na nangyayari dito. He's gonna be making a few plays of his own and picking that one on a 2K.
Check out this instant replay powered by XSplit. Worship just going ham, defending the site all by himself. Does get taken down by Dre, but not without taking down 3 of Atlas agents. And yeah, it just goes to show, I think Chimaera is just basically outclassing Atlas on so many aspects. But I'm welcome to be proven wrong, Ling. And perhaps in the second half, things might change. But Atlas is so far doing a much better job in this match compared to the previous one, which was Bind.
Pero ito talaga, which is yung herding mentality na you mentioned a while ago, is really something na, I mean, it's great na you try to play around your team, but ito talagang mahirap when you can't even play for defaults on your own. If you can't manage yourself to like get your own frags for yourself. Kasi dito talaga may like individually, you just gotta realize that at some point in time, you really have to like win those 1v1s on your own. You don't really, parang, you don't always have a trade. You don't always have to put this on a 2v1 kasi it's a game of Valorant. It's still a game of shootings and it's still a shooting game. na kung saan inaasahan mo talaga that you definitely have to hit those shots you need. Tulad na ginagawa dito ni Gado, mukhang tatlo at mukhang hindi pa nga siya makakakuha doon because Yoshi, isang mabilisang trade, 3v4 na po. Swim at mukhang
Yeah.
everyone could possibly even go in for the rotation on towards A out of that kill. But good thing this alert from Clyde, who's gonna be trying to at least secure enough space para sa kanilang teammates, who's gonna be trying to go in for the bomb plant
30
on towards
seconds
C.
left.
Pero yun nga, no? Na-secure na yung C site,
Spike
but
planted.
the spike, going down is there's a bit of a delay on it, Ling. Perhaps at this point, kailangan nila gumalaw ng mas mabilis. I feel like Atlas is playing very, very afraid, perhaps a bit too cautious, perhaps giving Chimaera a bit too much respect on their end. Pero naintindihan ko naman gano'n ka-intimidating maging kalaban yung Chimaera, no? So, mukhang mag-retake na dito si Beats. Does take down Clyde and Tim. This is just a masterclass of how you play Raze. Crazy.
Definitely the movement is there, and the retake that they have definitely pulled off really cleanly coming out from Team Chimaera. Although they did not even utilize a recon ball out of that one, but still though, it was a really good run coming out from Team Chimaera. Atlas, they really have to step things up a little bit. Parang nakikita mo, ang gulo ng ginagawa nila. Sobrang kalat nila sa mapa to the point na you definitely know as if naman pinapakita talaga nila na they literally have no idea what's happening right now. Like playing around their team, like expected na you'd get those jitters when you play around a team like Team Chimaera, but still you gotta build up your confidence for a little bit to even win a few rounds for yourself. Although Worship is gonna be punishing one that's aggressing on towards grass, that's gonna be Tim being the first one to fall down. But seems like here, the information coming out from the Recon Bolt is not gonna be capturing the angle all the way from under Nest, and that's gonna be Ripper being able to pick out one. Yoshi playing around the Sheriff, mukhang hindi pa nga siya makakapitas. Gadowers to the Phantom is definitely gonna be picking up on anyone who's gonna be crossing on towards mid.
Look at that, Gadors with another multi-kill. I think, Atlas really needs to avoid those occurrences and just really need to trade frag a lot faster, need to react a lot faster. Very good call coming in from Beats though to throw out those paint shells at the beginning of the round. Because in-anticipate nila na dikit-dikit yung Atlas at the beginning of the round most of the time. So a lot of value from that paint shell, and of course Worship on that operator just pre-firing onto that entrance. So far, I think Chimaera, they don't really have to change anything that they're doing. Basang-basa nila so far. Atlas, and it's, the ball is in Atlas courts right now to try and adapt, try and adjust, and try to make this a 7-5 at least in the first half. Maybe they're more comfortable on defense. That needs to be seen. But Tim takes down Ripper though.
But, run back, mukhang itong ginagamit nila upang kukunin ang C-side. They're not gonna be getting anything out of that because the Omen is still alive. I mean, the Sova is gonna be still alive and kicking. But, Raze, ang walang showstopper tayo makikita for this time around because he's gonna be the only one to fall down coming up from Team Atlas. Chimaera, though, they are gonna be trying to go in for the early rotation on towards C-side. Although the smoke is gonna be denying any point of information that they are definitely gonna be needing. Lockdown being committed by one, and of course, Cypher still has neural step. Omen, of course, the Reyna is gonna be using this Empress a little too soon, given that the lockdown is still has a second left who can play around with. Clyde Beats, of course, playing on towards Garage, trying to do as much tag as he could. Clyde with the spray, picking off two at mukhang si Gato. Buwang buhay na buhay. Empress po upang makakapag-heal. He's not gonna be taking the orb to even dismiss. And that's gonna be costing the round to even go for Team Atlas.
Yeah, that was a really good take from Atlas. Again, valiant defensive effort, post-plant defense from Clyde, getting that multi-kill. And that's what they really have to do. I guess from Chimaera, parang medyo naging complacent sila dun coming into CT entrance na parang lahat sila nandun. Nag-line up sila. Very, very unfortunate. But it does happen from time to time. Unfortunately, Gador not just being able to close out the round despite having that Empress online. Atlas, though, they do have the showstopper and, of course, that Omen teleport. They could make a play using that showstopper to open up a side potentially and make this a 7-5, which is a favorable scoreline coming into defense on the second half. So
Well, they
we'll see.
really have. Yeah, we'll definitely see on how are they going to be playing this one on the second half because looking at it so far, it's still the same slow pace na ginagawa nila, and this is where they actually try to at least make the most out of this play. Although we are going to be seeing a few frags happen here and there, it's already up to a 4v4. Clyde D being the better omen here this time around, picking off Ripper, who's going to be playing on towards close double door. Although Worship might actually try to aggress his way on towards Silong to even further get more information on whatever's happening on towards the map. But little do they know, they're inclining more on towards the A side take, wherein Sova could actually try to go in for the drone plays here upang maka-scout out for more information. But of course, the timing is not gonna be there. Mukhang beats, quick scope,
Oh
ako,
my gosh.
makakuha pa nga siya. That flick was so clean to the point that I really don't know what mess are we gonna be up against with. And seems like Brain Freeze, makakapag-headshot pa kay Clyde B. And of course,
30
Tim
seconds
with the
left.
wallbang. Now kung nakakuha pa siya ng sarili niyang mga patayan, it seems like Beats, but actually try to hold off just a single angle here with the operator, switching up his gun with the Vandal. Mukhang they're going to be trying to scout for more information with the camera that they currently have, although they are going to be aggressing a little bit so far and deep on towards the side, but he's going to be completely punished by that, but the Hunter's Fury, na kung saan ina-anticipate nila yung mangyayari yun. Wallbang from Beats. And of course, showstopper na walang mapapala.
Big play coming in from Tim. Kasi diba, gets kayo nangyari dun
Switching
eh.
sides.
May info siya kanina that Killjoy was at hell, right? Pero very good call from Tim to have rotated to default very, very quietly. And talaga na-juke si Beats dun. Even, if I were in his position as well, I really would have thought that Killjoy was still in hell. Kasi dun nang galing in turret, that was the last thing he saw, right? So very good play from Tim. 75 scoreline. Very winnable condition for Atlas. Let's see what they can make of this defense. Pero alam naman natin na sobrang coordinated din mag-attack ng Chimaera. So, again, makikita natin dito. Looks like they're heavy stacking A lane. So, madali naman talaga pasukin yung A site lalo na pag pistol round.
Pero mukhang ito talaga mahihirapan ang ginagawa. You don't have to. What was that?
Okay.
He was tracking as if he didn't know where the lineup is gonna go. But isang madali ang side take coming up from Team Chimaera. Angels po upang makakapag-delay for the post-ban situation and of course the bomb plant. But it's not gonna be successful because it's just one player that you're even able to tag down. A 5-man retake is still gonna be on the line coming up from Team Atlas. All of which are gonna be coming out from CT. A pretty unusual play, I might say. They're basically swarming on towards the side.
Yeah.
Of course, the Recon Bolt is going to be getting the information that the attackers definitely need to even contest for this one around. Of course, Brain Freeze, close angle, but actually go in for the flick here, but it's a 2v3, and it seems like the Rays could actually make a play, and of course, go in for the aim duels, but they are not going to be hitting their shots, and finally, Ripper is going to be finishing off this for 3.
Medyo interesting yung ginawa ng Chimaera doon. Parang lahat sila nag-exit ng site tapos bumalik sila agad. Pero for the side of Atlas, very astute observation in your end that they all went through rushing CT entrance. Typically, when you try to retake A, one would go onto Heaven, one would go onto CT entrance, and perhaps one would flank from window
There were 4
to short.
people.
There are 4 people who funneled onto a choke point.
Goes there.
And typically, when retaking A, that's not something you typically see.
This should do.
Which is, hindi talaga siya ideal. What if, ang situation here, if naka-frenzy ang kalaban and holding off close angle? That's
Lineup
gonna be
na.
bad news for you. Isang madali ang lineup and basically bodies are gonna be piling up on towards that choke point. Which is not ideal for you as a defending going in for the retake.
Looks like Beats will be sitting over at Hell here. Another A execute. Yoshi, though, taking out Worship with those paint shells, sitting quietly over there at Heaven. 4v5 situation. Let's see what Chimaera can do to defend the spike post-plant. But Beats, so much value off that Spectre, rather.
Much value indeed. They have got a lot more on what they're trying to do on this pistol round na nagagaling from Team Atlas. They could actually go in for another one, but seems like Brain Freeze is going to be stopping their tracks just there.
Tignan natin kung
I mean-
makaka-comeback ang Atlas dito kasi siguradong full buy na sila dito. Pero wala, hindi magpapatalong Chimaera kasi 3 of them are gonna be in rifles and full armor as well. So there's not going to be much of a gun discrepancy, gun disadvantage here. You do have Godot on that Phantom. He tends to prefer the Phantom over the Vandal, no matter what map it is. How about Yiling? What do you prefer? Are you like a Phantom or Vandal user, or situational? Depends on your mood.
Actually, I'm more of a Vandal user all the way.
All the
Even
way.
before the buff, yeah. Even before the buff, I'm a lot more comfortable
How about those one
utilizing
taps?
that one tap. Yes, I'm in love with that thing. And I can't get rid of it. Swear, no matter how many people are trying to convince you to even use the Phantom, tulad ng how Godowers is actually trying to convince me how effective it is in mid-range to close-range engagement. But you are going to be seeing a few sprays and praise here coming up from Bry. But he's going to be flashed out with the Paranoia. Lineups is going to be there. He's going to be taking out two Worship Wall with the trade. It seems like Chimaera is going to be taking Seaside all on their own. Atlas could actually play this one on a 3-man retake. But of course, they're going to be completely denied of that information coming up from Garage. They could actually go in for the double C long post band here. What seems like Brain Freeze is all on his own, contesting for the site, and literally no trades that are going to be coming out just yet. He might actually go in and play towards the smoke. They have Satchel to actually clear out the angles. It seems like Beats is going to be down to 50 HP. Ang isang madali ang pitasan because that's the headshot to actually finish off his life.
Now that's a retake that we like to see coming in from Atlas. They're retaking from multiple angles and trying to surround those who are trying to execute the site. And it worked out really well for them. Despite it being planted for long, they were able to block off that choke point, block off the line of sight using that Omen smoke, and just pre-fire it. And it really worked. So I wouldn't be surprised if perhaps Chimaera would go for a B take or an A execute here.
They could be inclining more on, like, depending on their buy, Bucky's and if you like a Spectre and just 3 rifles coming out from them, they could actually try to at least go for pickings initially to make this, like, to make the decision of sticking out to the Bucky not really the thing that would make them lose for this round. What seems like here, kung makikita natin, Team Atlas might actually try to play this one a little bit more passively compared to what we've seen before. Godot ito, with the initial kills on towards Yoshi, putting this game on a 4v5 situation. Same goes with Bry. Mukhang they just don't want to end this game of duels just yet. A pretty good timing with that swing, I might say, but the recon bolt is going to be spotting him off so far. Worship with the camera is trying to scout out for more information on whatever the heck everyone is at the moment. Although running back is kinukomit po on towards that garage just to get further info on where the heck Team Chimaera is going to be playing at. But they're going to be running their way on towards C. The turret is going to be getting that information. Of course, Brain Freeze is going to be trying to at least go in for the go in and try to go in towards the site. It seems like Spy Plant is still on its way. D contesting for a single angle. Not exactly ideal. You're not going to be waiting for your teammates, but recon bolt play. Mukhang dito po sila magkakaalaman where the heck everyone is. There's going to be another counter to even detect for more information. Swing, the spray, and of course does not hit. Brain Freeze being prevailing over that duel, and that's going to be a retake, possibly going to be successful if Beats does not go in just in time.
Sobrang layo ni Beats ito. It looks like they're going to be able to defuse the spike before it even gets to the site here. It takes down Clyde, but it doesn't matter at this point. Atlas sneaks away another point. Pero, kita-kita mo to, Ling, diba? Ang ganda ng ginagawa ng Atlas. They're playing more as a team. They're much more cohesive here on defense. It feels like they're much more comfortable and, they're playing it out like a regular game. As opposed to them being on attack na sobrang parang paralyzed sila. Sa rotations nila, sa galaw nila, na napakabagal nila gumalaw. But here on defense, they're very, very comfortable. I like the trade frags that's happening. I like the rotations and the retakes. If they keep doing this, they might actually see a game 3.
We might honestly, Vim, kasi it looks a lot more promising than what we've seen before. Although, kung makita natin dito pa nga sila maka-cut off guard, there's the punishment ginagawa nila. There's gonna be the flash on towards the smoke, but Ripper is already his way on towards backside. Dito na nga sila mapapunish because Atlas, with a quick denial of that aggression na gustong gagawin ng Team Chimaera, it was a pretty unusual for him to actually play on towards close smoke and inside that. Dito talaga nakikita ng early information na kinakailangan nila and the initial frags to actually deny the opening na gustong gagawin ng Team Chimaera out of that.
That was a really big play coming in from Bry. And that's what we want to see coming into this matchup. That's definitely what they need to do in order to go up against a team like Chimaera. you gotta bring the fight to them, perhaps punish their aggression, especially here on the attack phase. Pero mukhang hindi magpapatalo pa rin ng Chimera. They're still going to go all in, it seems. Perhaps Godot will be lurking over there at A site, pero heavy stacking sila towards mid grass.
At mukhang sinusubukan talaga nila to actually go in for the drone plays, but it seems like the drone is not going to be spotting off anyone. At mukhang they might actually try to make this happen for them, but seems like an aggression coming out from Team Atlas could actually still be doable here once they actually get the initial frag that they need. The Killjoy trap is going to be spotting off one. It is going to be Yoshi na makakakuha na pa ng isa. Although makikita natin they're going to be trying to swarm on towards A side. Good thing there's going to be traps, so actually deny that info, and mukhang that's going to be one run is going to be going for Team Atlas once again.
I think at this point, Chimera needs to play for picks. They can't be haphazard onto executions of a site. It's simply not working anymore. Atlas is very comfortable here on the defense. Their defensive protocols work very, very well. And, you know, each of them, despite Haven having 3 sites, it seems like every site and every lane is well accounted for at any given point in time. So the only solution for that is Chimera to make use of a showstopper, perhaps take a pick, maintain man advantage, and rotate to the other side of the map and go for a clean, smooth, slow and steady execute.
A slow and steady execute to go up against a team that's basically going and hurting on towards the side. That's going to be a fight worth looking at. But seems like here they have even managed to go and make an opening on towards the A side. And that's going to be triggering a rotation that na mabibigay just for the Killjoy alone. Hunter's Fury, both coming out from both teams, are going to be committed here on this game. So far, wala pa pang nangyayari. Although, makikita natin they are inclining more on towards their burst play. At mukhang that lucky wallbang coming out from Yoshi though is going to be costing the life of the Reyna on towards the side sake. But it seems like here, slow pace play at mukhang they might actually try to secure enough angles that they could na para hindi naman sila malalason for this side sake alone.
Looks like a quick rotate is in order here, as the Killjoy turret will be able to spot out the team of Chimera executing onto A side. Lockdown is in effect. So mukhang mag-rotate out ang squad ng Chimera dito. Pero malamang hindi nila iiwanan yung spike.
So it's just them trying to keep each other alive, basically. Them. Now mukhang this could actually still be doable round coming out from Team Chimera once they actually deny that this used to happen, but seems like they're gonna be a little bit too late for that. But there's a lot of time for them to exercise around. But seems like Team Chimera parang medyo nagiging kampate sila so far when it comes to like their post-ban situation, because they've seen this happen before. They've been really successful in pulling out plays like that, but this time around it's not gonna work. Alam na ng Atlas on what to do next, and this is where they actually tried to turn things around and close out the gap and finally punin 9-10 na tayo dito, and maraming pa tayong pwede makikita. Possibly a game 3 based on how Atlas is actually performing, but we'll actually have to see this so far.
Absolutely. Perhaps the previous round is a wake-up call for Team Chimera, as this is the first time that actually Atlas is taking the lead away from them, in this series thus far. So we are perhaps are we in a tactical pause right here?
Possibly, yes. Going in for the tactical pause, kasi honestly, based on like the decision so far coming up from both teams, they have to really consider whatever happens here for Team Chimera could possibly go force them on towards that reset. Now, they will not be even able to afford anything for the next round. Possibly a few pistol upgrades, but could that be enough to at least shut down whatever Atlas is trying to plan on towards this game? Kasi kung tutuusin, they've lost a few rounds in a row, but that doesn't look so good once you are stuck on towards that 9, on towards the score of 9. Kasi once you actually put this down to a 9, on a 9-11 score, tas wala kang masyadong firepower or even utilities to stall off whatever push na ginawa or yung defense na ginagawa ng Team Atlas for this game. There's literally little to no effort na makikita namin sa inyo so far, except for just solely relying on those close range engagements, and of course yung mga basically on aim duels that you're trying to force out coming out from the defender side.
It's a very good point, Nine. And you definitely don't want to see a 9-11 scoreline when you don't have enough economic stability, because you don't want to be the team that's playing for a tie. It just feels really bad, and the war is lost psychologically, and that takes a really huge toll on the rest of the team. But it seems like Chimaera is still going for a standard B execute. They're going all in, and Gato gets taken down by Clyde.
At mukhang dito na po magsasimula ang kanilang retake on a 4v5. Of course, players are actually swarming their way on towards A lane. There's the Pain Shells. Mukhang they're actually trying to play out their luck. Good thing there's some Molotov coming out from Brian, picking out one. Dre with the Odin is making plays of its own. Although Beats might actually commit a showstopper to even delay the bomb plat, but it's not going to be hitting enough shots just yet. They are going to be holding in for that bomb plat. And finally, Atlas putting this out on a 9-11 score. 3-point gap, but still, that's a lot for them to actually play around with. Mukhang Chimaera could actually be forcing themselves on towards that reset, possibly going in for the minimal armors na makukuha nila for this run. But finally, the operator plays coming up from Beats this time around could actually be enough to make openings for the team. Possibly not, but we'll definitely have to see this one for sure.
I think the operator here is definitely going to be a bit of a game changer, especially in the hands of a player like Beats. He's gonna definitely go for picks here, and I feel like this is something they should have done much earlier, right? So I'd like to see Beats take a pick off here, and perhaps maintain that man advantage before they actually go to the site.
Well, this is actually like you really do have like a good point there because defending like I've said this over and over again. Ang hirap magdefend with Atlas playing with around 4 people, and it's considerably hard given how fast Chimaera is actually playing this one around, on how fast their side takes actually are. Now, if you actually just pick out the utility agents kung ano meron sila, that's gonna be bad news for them. A retake could not actually be doable here, but so based on what's happening in front of here, there's the showstopper being committed to Mong. There's gonna be one spot that's gonna be falling down. Not really seeing the POV what's happening here, but seems like it's already down to 1v2. Tim being the last one alive coming out from
It's like
Team
it's a
Atlas,
very
and the
important
last one to
round
fall down.
for Chimaera.
Yeah, it did.
But yeah, it just goes to show that Beats on that showstopper, and of course that operator was a huge game changer, right? And that's what they needed, that opening pick before going onto the site, before committing. But in general, why aren't they sort of rotating throughout the map? They could sort of fake a rotation. Atlas is a team that has minimal info because they do not have a cipher. Their Sova's not really being crafty with their lineups. I think it'll be fairly an easy task to sort of fake a rotation. But I guess Chimaera is just not afraid to fully commit onto a site.
They're basically having like a second thoughts on whatever's gonna be happening here. Kasi sabihin mo naman talaga na on the site that you're taking on whatever they're trying to do here, medyo mahirapan talaga ang Team Chimaera kasi kung makikita natin dito on towards the scoreboard, tatlo na po ng pipitas ng isang Madeline with only putting this out on a 2v4. Not really an ideal round or ideal round to go coming out from the attackers team. Pero this is where we actually want them we actually want Team Chimaera to step up na this summer kasi match point na po if matatalo nila to, and Brain Freeze is gonna be trying to make his plays on his own based on like how successful these speed takes are, like definitely gonna be going on from Team Chimaera. They cannot do that just yet because it's just gonna be the race with the operator playing this one on a solo.
It's like Beats is going to be left all alone here. Oh, beautiful
left.
shot onto Clyde, but it's going to be a 1v3. Very tough condition here. 20 seconds left on the clock. He's going to be forced to commit to B. But, a crossfire setup here. Yoshi takes down Beats over there. Beautiful one-tap. Score is 10-12 now in favor of Atlas. Looks like it's all boiled down to this. And if Chimaera loses this round, we're going to go on to Game 3, Ling.
I don't know if it's Team Chimaera giving a lot more respect than they should on towards
I
Team
agree.
Atlas,
I
because
agree.
ang raming rounds that they really should be winning so far, and this is where parang nakita ko na you really should be giving up on those. Like, alam mo yung na-feel, nakikita natin na nasa kanila na sana yung laban, but seems like nababawi pa ng Team Atlas. When we really couldn't afford, honestly. For a team like Team Chimaera right now, they can't afford to losing on another round because this is going to be costing them another game. That's going to be putting them on towards the third map. But seems like Dre put on his own with the Odin. Mukhang there's going to be the spray down that's going to be paying off so well because he's going to be taking 2 out of that. But seems like for Team Chimaera, that's going to be the victory na ipapamigay nila for Team Atlas.
Beautiful, beautiful comeback victory there from Team Atlas. Again, Chimaera just off to an explosive start, but Atlas in the end mounting that comeback, proving to us that they are very comfortable in their own map pick, Haven, especially on the defensive end. Again, I really believe they are a team that has a lot to work on when it comes to offense, Link. But they are very, very coordinated and, of course, a cohesive unit, very comfortable on the defense phase.
But it seems like what I've like to see more as of Team Chimaera, like alam mo talaga on what they're capable of, and it's kind of surprising that how they've actually lost this one. Parang we've seen a while ago na kung gaano sila ka-solid when it comes to like the defender side, like sobrang nahihirapan ng Atlas coming out of that. But we've actually seen how these rounds are supposed to go. Kasi we've seen enough times on Team Chimaera play on Haven, and like looking at their attacker side, it's parang medyo naghihinayang ako for them to like give this away then not snatch this out on a 2-1 score. And parang I was a bit disappointed in how the rounds actually went out. But they had the opportunity, they had a lot more opportunities to even go for the pickings, pero hindi natin nakita yun. They parang parang nafe-feel ko na medyo rush yung nangyayari sa laro, and it didn't really pay off so well. Fast-paced gameplays with literally no plays na nangyayari is just not worth it because it costed them the game.
A lot of standard executes that didn't really go according to plan. In the end, again, very explosive start, a very, very dominant beginning for Team Chimaera, but eventually, as soon as Atlas found their footing, as soon as they found their rhythm and were over that psychological intimidation factor, they were able to play accordingly just as a regular game. And that's when they actually started mounting that comeback. Parang, they were winning duels, they were trade fragging efficiently, they were moving across the map very, very fast, and they were able to respond to those standard executes. I would have loved to see Chimaera become more crafty in terms of their executes on that attack phase, but alas, we go to game 3. Isn't that
Definitely
right?
game 3.
Yeah.
But I really do hope na stuff like that won't happen ever again. Yun lang. That's basically it. Ang ganda na sana ng laban na pinakita. It's just that ang hindi ko talaga maintindihan bakit yung ang raming mga unnecessary things that they get to do, maraming mga sabihin talaga yung possibly unanticipated plays na nangyayari coming from Team Atlas, because unfortunately I wasn't not even able to see that. So yeah, let's do better next time. I really do hope that mas magandang mapapakita nila on towards game 3. And
All right, we're going to be tossing it back to our two hosts, Cloud with a peace sign and Laika.
Wait. Okay. Thanks, Vyminal and Ling, for your insights. Laika, what can you say?
Ha, masaya ako.
Masaya
Tuloy
ka.
yung joke natin.
Actually, tama ka. Mapapasok mo yung split. Third game meaning may split map tayo.
Yes. Thank you so much, XSplit, para sa joke na yun. Pero kidding aside, nakikita ko yung frustration sa casters natin kasi even I witnessed some questionable plays out there. I mean, hindi natin malalaman kung what happens behind the scenes. Baka may miscommunication na nangyayari. Baka, alam mo, may tinatest out sila na bago, which unfortunately, hindi gumagana.
Sabi nga niling hindi niya naiintindihan. Well,
Kahit ako.
maraming bagay na hindi talaga natin naiintindihan. Pero seryoso, with such a big lead, Chimaera natalo pa.
Yes, yun nga, yung
At such a
Chimaera.
crucial time. This is the semifinal. Oh, no. Tama, semifinals.
Feeling ko narinig nila ako. Tas pagbigyan nga natin tong host natin.
Ibigay natin sa kanya yung split. Para
Eto,
matuloy niya.
Pero ngayon, moving on to the MVP of the game, we're gonna go with Atlas Yoshi. Oh, spicy 26, 6, 17 KDA. Oh, sorry. 26 17-6. Ayan. Kill, assists, and death. And the econ rating of 136 with the Raze.
Very frugal tong taong to.
Di biro yung Raze, one of the very mobile duelists na meron tayo dito sa game.
And siya yung madalas pong makikita sa highlight reels. Talaga na palipad-lipad lang. Pero I don't think may nakita tayong such a fancy play from Riz. But he did.
For this game specifically,
Yeah.
wala masyado.
But like right now, I'm still in shock, and I'm really disappointed with Chimaera. Like they had such a big lead. This is a crucial game for them to win. They could have
Yes.
ended it right here and now. Pero no,
Medyo naligaw tayo dun eh,
naligaw
no?
talaga sila. Sila yung naligaw ng landas.
Pero moving on to game number 3, hopefully, we're all hoping na mas maayos yung mga maging plays. Kasi ayaw rin natin na parang nagtataka tayo na, bakit ganun yung ginawa niya?
Tama.
Parang gusto mo talaga, syempre nasa professional level tayo, so ma-understand mo yung expectation sa mga tao kung bakit ganitong level. Hindi naman sa parang kino-question talaga natin tong mga to, pero syempre may standard tayo para umabot sa ganitong level.
Tama. Kasi kaya natin pinapanood itong mga to. Ito yung mga galawan na hindi natin makakamit ever. Nandito tayo, nandito sila eh. Ay, sorry. Ako lang personally. Sige, hindi ko na kayo dadamay.
Hindi. Parang stepping stone, di ba? Manood ka muna sa pros, aralin mo yung gameplay nila, and then, slowly but surely, di ba, i-apply mo rin sa sariling gameplay mo.
In God's time. In God's will.
In God's time. Ayan. So, before anything else, we would like to thank our sponsors for making all of this possible, especially with Globe at Home, because with Globe at Home, you can recreate the world right at home.
And of course, the official PC partner for KDR Tournament Series, of course, that's Legion Philippines and Intel. Stylish on the outside, savage inside.
And of course, we are powered by XSplit.
Game 3.
Yes, and of course, Split will also be the map later on for game number 3, so stay tuned for that. But we'd also like to say that Valorant KDR Tournament is brought to you by Valorant PH and Valorant Rising. That's it for this segment, guys. We'll see you guys after the break. And right after that, the score right now is 1-1 between Chimaera and Atlas. So we're about to find out who is going to move on to the grand finals after the break. So see you guys then.
$525,600 525,000 moments so dear. 525,600 minutes. How do you measure fear? In daylights, in sunsets, in midnights, come so glory. In inches, in miles, in laughter and strife. 525,600 minutes. How do you measure a year in a life?
Grabe, kung iisipin ko, there's so many more things that we can do with 5G. In so many industries, like automotive industry, you have self-driving cars, we always talk about that. And logistics, you got drones flying all over, delivering packages. Sobrang galing na, no, Janina? She is no longer with us. 1G started back in the 80s, and back then you could only do analog voice calls. 4G is like you're on a 2-lane highway, you're in your sedan, driving along with other cars. But 5G, you're in a 10-lane highway in your sports car. Parang kasama ka sa crowd, no? Without physically going to the store.
Ooh! Self-driving cars? I wouldn't need to get my license anymore.
A drone could actually deliver a package straight to you.
Parang gusto ko na mag-fast forward forward into the future.
I will swear at the moment because the future is closer than ever.
Practice that a lot, no?
Welcome back to the KDR Tournament Series main stage, the playoffs. Guys, it's been an exciting day so far. We started off with Brent Esports versus AG Nefarious. Brent Esports succeeded in that matchup and they will be proceeding to our grand finals later on. Pero this time around, we're gonna move on to the third game of Chimaera versus Atlas. So kung sino man nanalo sa laban na to, sila yung makakalaban ng Brent Esports mamaya. Pero, Cloud, what about a quick recap of this third matchup so far?
Okay. So, it started out as both games being dominated by Chimaera. Pero, Chimaera falling off in the second game. Like, really, really bad. Falling off, like, really bad. Like, what happened, dude? From a score of what? 10-4, 10-5? Something
I believe it was
something like that.
11 something. Yeah.
Grabe. Imagine if only you scored those 3 points.
Yeah,
Eh,
you would have won that and 2-0 na to, you get to move on to the grand finals.
But, syempre, hanggat hindi pa tapos ang laban,
Hindi pa tapos ang
hindi pa
laban.
tapos ang laban.
Syempre naman props pa rin dito sa Chimaera natin. Although medyo questionable nga yung naging second game nila. Ito pa rin eh. May third game tayo para sa Redemption. Kaya nga best of 3 series. Kasi dahil nasa best of the best level na tayo, hindi tayo pwede mag-rely sa isang game lang. Minsan, itong isang game na to may not be your game. Tapos lamang yung isang team, pwede namang bawiin mo pa siya sa next game. All you have to do is, regroup,
Yeah.
reset, download the gameplay of your enemies, learn from that, and then bumawi kayo. Because that's what we're all about here over at Valorant, diba?
Alam mo bakit? Kasi ang Valorant, mahilig magbigay ng chances.
Mahilig magbigay ng chances, pero kami rin dito sa KDR tournament, mahilig rin magbigay ng
Giveaways.
prizes.
Yep.
Ooh. Ayan. So speaking of prizes, we're gonna be giving away, I believe, the headset.
I don't know.
Para sa ba para sa
Gcash? Or
Tingnan natin.
Everything. Tignan natin.
Drum roll, please.
Tignan natin. Malalaman ba
Alin
natin?
I win.
Headset nga.
So we're gonna be giving away a Legion H300 gaming headset to none other than Luigi Castilla. Congratulations!
Sana all.
Ayan. Maririnig mo na ng mabuti yung footsteps in-game sa Valorant. So again, nanood ka lang, natuto ka na, nanalo ka pa.
Diba? San ka pa? And syempre, all of that is possible because of our sponsors.
Yes, of course. So we'd like to give a huge shout out and thank you to Globe at Home, because with Globe at Home, you can recreate the world right at home.
And of course, the official PC partner for KDR Tournament Series, Legion Philippines and Intel. Stylish outside, savage inside.
And we are also powered by X Split. And we're gonna go on Split later. Pero before that, this tournament is also brought to us by Valorant PH and Valorant Rising.
And dahil nga, powered tong stream na to ng XSplit,
Let's go to Split. So Vyminal and Link, take it away.
I'm gonna give you another intro. Go,
Yes.
go, do your intro.
Ladies and
go your
gentlemen.
intro.
Ladies and gentlemen of cyberspace, we're going to game 3. My name is Vyminal, and
And I'm Ling. And finally, isang matinding laban na po makikita natin ngayong gabi. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in up towards the game 3. Oh my God, this is the deciding match. Whoever's gonna win this is gonna proceed on towards the finals. Kung ako sa inyo, hold on to your seats kasi isa namang matinding labanan na makikita natin on towards Split.
yeah, sobrang init ng laban. Again, very dominant ang Chimaera during the first round, right? The second time, very explosive start. But naka-comeback ang Atlas. Napakaganda ng pinakita nila doon. And just goes to show, you cannot underestimate this team, right? So we're going to Split. And I just cannot wait for this deciding match to see who will go on to our grand final. So this is a very, very important match, guys. Please, please stay tuned as we get to see our agent picks here for the side of Chimaera. First, I believe.
First and foremost, aabangan na naman natin ng mga agents na gagamitin ngayon ng Team Chimaera. Worship, and of course, as expected, nalabas na naman tayo ng
Yo.
mga breach dito. Uy, whoa, what?
This is
Okay, breach nga.
this is a breach map, right? I mean, Split is a map that's perfect for breach for some apparent reason, right? Maybe it's the map design or the elevations and whatnot, but very very popular pick on breach dito. Brain Freeze gonna be on that Killjoy, Gador's on the Reyna, Ripper on the Omen, and Beats. I wouldn't be surprised if he's gonna be on Raze, perhaps.
Most likely is gonna be in Raze at mukhang co-commit sila ngayon dyan. But seems like ito ha, I've seen this Chimaera play, of course, expected yung ganito mang lineup, and you did mention a while ago on how effective Breach actually is on both vertical and horizontal angles. But yung,
Yes.
honestly, the utilities alone, the flashes, yung basically yung cover, yung scope niya,
Yeah.
like the areas you could definitely cover, yung range, is very effective in basically any situation or any part of the map of him. Kasi sobrang gamit na gamit niya. And let's not forget itong fault line. Fault line na gamit talaga. Kasi once you're actually on a tight spot, parang isang quick utility mo lang magagamit on basically anywhere, any point in time na gamit ang utilities ni Breach. Either the fault line or the flash, you could easily try to like turn this back into your favor. Kasi that quick flash actually gives you a huge opening rather. Kasi once you get flashed with a Breach, it honestly feels like you've been flashed forever. Honestly, kahit ako na naman,
Yeah,
hindi
you
na
get
ako
flashed for 10
magko-contest.
years.
You got flashed for 10 freaking years, and there's no point in holding on to your keyboard and mouse. Unless it's a Legion keyboard and mouse and headset, my god. Bakit hindi? Pero
Nice.
yun na nga.
But yeah, you make a very good point, especially in a map like Split na ang daming sharp angles like that. Then of course a breach flash that goes through walls, mind you, just works out so well, especially when you have like a Raze that can again has that huge zoning potential. Now let's take a look at what Atlas has in mind for their agent picks. Ling.
Honestly, kahit ako, please ilabas nyo na ang Sage. No, Tim! Bakit? Why?
Comfort pick niya yan, Ling, eh. Of course, he's going to be playing on Killjoy. He's been playing Killjoy throughout this entire tournament series and against other matchups as well. He's very comfortable on that Killjoy. We've seen how proficient he can be. Looks like Yoshi will be going for that comfort pick as well on the Raze. Dre this time on the breach. Very, very good to see.
Good to see him on the breach. And of course, Clyde bilang Omen. Bry God bilang Jet.
My God.
This is it, Pansit. Hindi na natin makakita ang mga Reyna tulad ng ginagawa ng Team Chimaera. It's Jet, and of course, it's Bright G with the Jet na. Dito na talaga. You gotta make sure that this is one of your best agents, chat. I mean, guys.
Yeah.
Parang ako yung streamer.
Kasi, hindi, totoo naman eh. Kasi, this is their last chance at securing a grand final spot. This is why this match is gonna be really, really intense. They're gonna play their hearts out. They're gonna play like their lives are on the line because the grand final spot is up for grabs. And in all honesty, very, very similar lineup. Ang naiba lang dito, of course, ang Reyna as opposed to Jet. But what do you think is more effective here, Reyna or Jet in terms of making an entry? I typically still prefer Jet on a map like Split kasi sobrang short range yung entrances to the site, and you can just basically dash in and secure a lot of real estate for the team. But again, that really depends on how effective you can use Jet's kit.
But honestly, like making openings with 3 flashes with the Reyna,
True.
parang honestly, since they're starting out with like attacker side, parang it's a great way for you to actually go in for more aggressive or explosive plays basically. Once Team Atlas or once Team Chimaera has actually laid off their ground para sa larong to, medyo baliktad yung team. But yun again, we are inclining them, we're actually seeing them inclining
Right.
more on towards that mid control, diba?
Very default blocking here. You have one lurking on A main, you have one lurking on B main, and 3 in mid. And they are going to B heaven, it seems.
They are gonna be going on to SP Heaven kung saan may makita tayong opening dito coming out from Ripper and of course the Raze. And makikita natin, the post-plan situation is still not gonna be online coming out from a team like Team Chimaera because it seems like that's gonna be a little bit too late given na nakikita natin dito, the Omen is already his way on towards Cell at mukhang makakapitas pa nga isa natin ng kuya dito si Yoshi, and there's gonna be another one na makakuha niya dito, and he's gonna be down and gonna be low on HP. Ang Killjoy mukhang could actually do a lot more out of this round because that's gonna be the round that's gonna secure in Team Atlas.
Again, Tim and Yoshi just proving our point earlier that they have been making things happen for Atlas. They have been standout players. That dynamic duo of Yoshi and Tim, just making a lot of things happen for Atlas. And again, Chimaera at this point in time, they cannot afford to underestimate their opponent. They may have dominated them quite a bit during the first map, but perhaps Atlas has been able to adjust and adapt to their strategy on the fly. And maybe it goes to show how flexible Team Atlas is.
And they definitely have to give us whatever they can. Kung hanggang saan ba talaga aabot yung pagsastretching nila kanina pa yung warm-up game. This has to be the do or die situation na gusto nila ipapatupad because Beats po, that's gonna be the initial kill in this game. Dre being the first one to fall down, 4v5. Mukhang, that's literally no follow-up so far in this game. We're just gonna be denying the defender side whatever information na gusto nila makikita out of the mid control na pinapatubad sa atin ng Team Chimaera out of this game. But seems like they're inclining more on towards their PJ. They're being committed, and of course, Bri with the cheeky angle with this with the scout, I might say. Mukhang wala siyang makikita doon. That's gonna be the bait lang na ginagawa ng attackers.
And if you're on the attack phase here, such as the side of Team Chimaera, if you identify where the Killjoy plays, as Clyde secures a multi-kill right there, alam mo na kung saan ka mag-execute. So that's why they're leaning towards B right now.
Because they are actually more comfortable playing around this side or playing for this one. Because kung tutuusin, they were actually able to even get like the initial part of the run. Kung saan, masasabi nila, oh wait, nakuha nila mid, therefore it's a lot easier for them to actually push out any point of the side. Pero yung kapag makakapag -1 ka lang on basically anywhere else out there, makaka-trigger ka ng rotation dyan. So it's not really actually that wise for you to commit just yet. Ang pinakamagandang gagawin nyo talaga is for the other players on your team to actually gain at least any point of map control to make side takes a lot more easier, which is something na hindi talaga natin nakita from Team Chimaera because they have been easily being picked out one by one coming out from the pushes na ginagawa nila on their own.
It looks like things might change over here onto round 3 as they have rifles in their hands. Looks like they are going for that default positioning with 3 on mid and 1 lurking on A main, as well as Beast lurking on B main. And I think it's just it's going to be more of this narrative. We're going to see more default positioning. Try to go for mid control here. This is a very effective strategy. They're going to try to take for picks before they actually commit to a site. There's nothing wrong with that.
Honestly, nothing wrong, but seems like here, they're masyado sila naging kampante on whatever side take na ginagawa nila just for that ropes. Kasi kung makita natin setup ng Killjoy dito, there's a lot of traps for them to actually scout for more information to wherever the attackers are planning to go in. That's gonna be denying them and possibly ma-force out sila. Or honestly, kahit sabihin mo, pipilitin mo papupush ang isang site na hindi nyo matatag down ng kanyang storm grade, it is definitely gonna be worth it kasi sasabihin na talaga na ang rotation ng Atlas as of the moment is for
30
them to be
seconds left.
inclining more on towards that B-side defense, which is not exactly ideal to towards whatever's happening right now. But there is gonna be a rotation coming out from their team. Although the spike is about to get planted just yet on towards A side. Ripper though, holding on from really close angle, anticipating Jet to actually go in for the push here, but there is still one dig na makikita natin with the Sheriff, and that's Ripper's head gonna be popped off immediately. Although the post-plant situation is gonna be online, there's gonna be a turret to actually secure enough angles na mabibigay natin dito. Bringing us to the headshot, one paranoia play is gonna be flashing out his own teammate. When Dre, he's gonna be getting a few frags of his own, and of course, Atlas winning the 3rd round in a row para sa kanila.
Again, in the defense phase here on Split, this is definitely something you want to see because especially on, alam naman natin gano'ng kahirap mag-attack sa Split. Pero kung na-maximize yung points niya on defense, it just makes the second half all the more easier for you. But them being able to win that 3rd round, despite not fully upgrading their guns, that's huge. That's really huge. And it's going to send a message to Chimaera. They got to do something to adapt. And it seems like they're going to go on a light buy here. They're not exactly going on a full save.
Isang napaka-awkward na buy sa kanila. Oh. But I've mentioned a while ago, Vim, how effective Atlas actually is with just sheriffs. Kahit aim duels alone, diba, sasabihin talaga natin, medyo
Actually, yeah.
nilalamig pa yung tutok nila sa kung tutuusin on towards the first game. But this time around, I'm finally seeing Team Atlas to what they are fully capable of. Kahit sabihin mo eco round yan para sa kanila, it's still a run completely doable coming out for them.
Yeah, actually, I'm gonna have to agree with you there. Parang time and time again, talagang nakikita natin na yung Atlas, very
One
proficient
player
siya with the
standing.
shares. But as I say, that beats with the multi-kill down. 2v1 situation in favor of Chimaera. This might actually be their first point on the board lane.
Might actually be the first point. And of course, Nina, we will never underestimate the clutch potential na mabibigay ni Yoshi ngayong gabi once he actually get his hands on the race. But it seems like that's gonna be that's a journey being ended off so early point in this game kasi mukhang ito na po. Mapapanalo na po ng Team Chimaera yung round na yun at mukhang they're gonna be able to even win back the economy back onto their side.
Oo nga eh. I mean, although I think Atlas can still afford to go for the buys here, looks like they are going to go for an operator for Bri. So as early as now, we're going to try to secure and sustain that momentum advantage. And especially in a map like Split with a Jet, you can really make good use of an operator here. And we'll see if Chimaera can actually just overwhelm that operator. Given their team comp though, that is very, very doable.
Highly doable for both teams, honestly. But it seems like here, ang wala talaga nakikita ko so far coming out from the like say, offensive side ng Team Chimaera is that they haven't really gotten initial picks na kinakailangan nila. I mean, it's great na they won from the previous run. But here's the thing, ito talaga yung mga picks na ginagawa nila is a little bit risky given that they have little to no utilities na ininvest nila doon just to even go for those type of angles. Like you should definitely know. You should definitely anticipate it for yourself na may offer talaga dito could possibly an offer holding off this angle. So yung mga ganyang tipong risk they're actually trying to take doesn't really pay off so well kasi kung makikita mo dito, Vim, is that they're already down to a 3v5 situation kung saan the spike hasn't been planted just yet. But seems like this could actually still be around doable coming out from their team because Gadowers is going to be doing a lot of wonders here. Already with the 4-kit, mukhang makaka-ace pa nga on towards the screens once he actually get his hands on towards him. And that's going to be the first ace for this series.
That's the Reina diff
For their
right
series.
there. That's the Reina diff right there. I think on the side of Atlas, a bit too slow on that refrag yet again, allowing that Reina to snowball. I mean, naka-devour siyang tatlong beses. So, I mean, not even forcing Gadot to dismiss, right? And when that happens, it means the trade frags just weren't there as fast as they can. I do believe that the Omen from Atlas just whiffed a few shots. Gadot should have gone down at that point, but very well played from Chimaera. And big plays coming in for Gadot. Rolling Thunder now on to B7.
It seems like there's a lot of space for Atlas to actually play around with. But seems like here, medyo may nagkakapanik na po tayo dito on towards B side with that lockdown na kinocommit ng Team Chimaera out of that play. But seems like though, there's like little to no effort to actually contest for the B side because wala pa sila nababato. They didn't even try to keep themselves alive during that engagement na ginagawa ng Team Chimaera na pinipilit nila out of that round. But seems like the most that team could actually do here is actually try to make the most out of the Sheriff and get a few exit frags from this push na ginagawa ng Reina, but he's not going to be successful in that, and that's going to be around being costed out by
Flawless victory
the team.
Yeah, by Team Chimaera. Although Atlas, though, they do have the upper hand when it comes to ult economy, so they could turn the tide here, as it seems like Chimaera is on a bit of a hot streak, or at least about to hit that hot streak. 3 rounds consecutively on the board. Now, in this point in time, Atlas, conversely, they can't get lax or complacent in terms of their defense.
Well, it's honestly really, really hard for you to even masyado ka mag-gain kumpiyansa on how the rounds are definitely going to be going because this unnecessary aggression na nakikita natin all the way from mid should definitely be paying off based on how this Jet is actually trying to at least go in for the 2-for-1 trades that they just did a while ago. It's already a 3v5 with still 3 ultimates on the line for Team Atlas. It's still going to be completely doable for Team Chimaera, though I will not underestimate these 3 players. That's going to still be alive because Brain Freeze, though, making a play on his own on towards Aram, and that's gonna be crucially enough to tie out the manpower na kung anong meron tayo dito. Although Drain might not turn just right in time because there's gonna be Beats who's gonna go in for the backstab.
Brain Freeze, though, in really deep of worship. does get that trade now. 2v1 in favor of Chimaera. This is exactly the opening that they were looking for.
Player remaining.
But Clyde with that paranoia, great timing though. Pero parang di niya
Great timing
inaasahan na
indeed.
nasa A-main si Beats.
But dito, I just don't know what is happening to both teams na ganito ang nangyayari. Medyo, kahit kung tutuusin, medyo makalat talaga ang laro lang coming out from the both of them so far, which is honestly really surprising pa rin for me na it's basically how the rounds are not, how I not, hindi ko talaga in-expect na ganito na mangyari coming out from both of them. Which is, sabihin na, maraming nasasayang coming out of that. Side takes were actually not, like, kahit, alam mo yung to the point na it was supposed to be Team Chimera or Team Atlas run, but for some reason, there has to be something that went wrong na nabibigay pa rin sa kabilang team, which is something that I don't really understand so far because this is not, parang walang masyadong follow-up. They get the frags, but there's literally no follow-up out of that. They get the frags, walang trade na mangyayari. Tulad nangyayari dito sa mid, we are definitely seeing a pretty unusual pick here, and basically Gadoers doing his thing once again, just basically wiping everyone on
Wiping
towards
the
the server and
floor.
possibly gonna go in for the second ace in this game.
See if
There's
he can
literally
actually get
nothing could stop this man.
Yeah, it's just
Spike planted.
Godot is really really scary when he goes online, when he actually turns on like that, and you really have to shut him down. Because if you let him run around the map with free reign, then you're in for some trouble. Because that guy has some really scary aim. Let's take a look at this instant replay powered by XSplit. Tim taking down Brain Freeze like that, but you know that flash was just the perfect time, and of course onto that Leer and Devour, allowing him to snowball. See if we can actually secure that kill.
Well, we could definitely see once Tim actually finally has the guts to actually push for side, which he definitely won't be laying his frags on. But seems like mukhang isa-save na lang muna dyan tong Vandal at mukhang let's just give it up and you
Yeah.
know save it for another round.
There's no reason to like overextend and just go hungry for an ace. Just an ace. But again, very impressive performance from Godot. Really big plays, making it happen for his team. Of course, even though Worship is on the bottom frag, you cannot discount his value on the board. Those flashes allowed Godot to basically pop off there. And yun yung ano eh, isa sa mga trabaho ng Breach, in my humble opinion. It basically funnels your duelist to be able to pop off and frag out. And he's doing a fantastic job at doing that. I'd like to see Atlas do that in return, because they do have a Breach of their own. Pero at this point, diba, mid-control, it's working out for them so far. As long as Godot gets an early pick, it just snowballs from there.
Definitely has to snowball from there because ano to talaga, it's basically Gato just trying to make the everything, like do everything for his team, but it's literally no point in time na the Atlas would actually try to figure this out once they actually commit that Rolling Thunder and try to aggress on towards mid.
Very questionable.
That's gonna be not really an ideal thing for him to actually do, given na wala siyang masyadong follow-up besides himself and the race that weren't exactly parang on the same page kanina.
Perhaps
He
that
throw
was
off
a bit
the,
too early.
parang nagkakaguluhan tayo dito. I'm not sure if it's because of the comms, but it's pretty unusual still.
Yeah, I mean, that was less than ideal, not really an optimal use of that Rolling Thunder. Perhaps you could have used it to prevent and execute entirely, but Yoshi getting a 2K just like that. Again, he's been such a consistent performer for Team Atlas here.
Spike planted.
Pero nakapag-plant na ng spike ang Team Chimera. Pero again, sayang, if only he had the Rolling Thunder at this point in time, Ling.
If only he had something, or at least got something out of that, yung pag-ult niya
Could've
dun sa,
used it,
ano, on towards mid. Because there's literally no reason for him to use that. Kasi kung makikita natin dito, although it's still gonna be a round completely doable for them, they could actually just costed that, like, another thing for Team Chimera. They could have used it for, like, another round. Pero hindi ko maintindihan bakit
Yeah,
ganito ang
Atlas
nangyari
still
coming
took
out from them. Like, they won the round, but still, it's not worth it na you invested so much, especially when you're trying to play this hot on a defender. Like, you have no we don't have any point in time now we could afford yung mga ganun type of like little things na ginagawa on the game, that's completely unnecessary because honestly, although you do like get the info na okay, maraming tao sa mid, I just don't think that you'd commit an ultimate with literally no follow up coming up from your team because there's literally not parang you could not fully utilize that. You're not getting the frags. You're just basically giving them like time pressure or you're giving like retaking map control basically, which is not how you're supposed to use your ultimates. Na sobrang rami pa nilang time to actually play around with during that game.
Yeah, definitely agree with you there. We are going into tactical pause, I do believe, as the breach from Team Atlas has disconnected momentarily. So they might be having some technical issues. So we'll figure out, we'll get some confirmation from our production team as to what exactly is happening behind the scenes. But for now, I do believe that Team Chimaera is actually doing very well for an attack side on split. And the score is 4-5 in their favor, and that's something you'd like to see. Like, kasi sabihin mo 6-6 yung scoreline and the equal yung skill level of both teams, favorable pa rin ang defensive positioning and defensive phase in just about any map in Valorant. That's how it works. So, Chimera ang nasa attack ngayon, and in the second half, they're going to be on defense. So, statistically speaking, they're going to be favored to win unless Atlas is going to be very, very coordinated in terms of their attack. But we've seen in the previous matches here in the series na hindi sila masyadong comfortable in their attack phases, and it leaves much to be desired. Unless, again, they can do something else here on Split.
What I honestly, Vim, I really do hope that they wouldn't force this one out on a 4v5. Ang hirap niyan because I've seen this happen before on how Atlas actually almost won against AG Nefarious just a few nights
Oh,
ago.
yeah.
And now,
Actually, yeah.
yes, yes, that happened just on 30 nights. And I might actually see this one tonight
Was it the same
again.
guy?
Hopefully not. Hopefully not,
Hopefully
Vim.
not.
Because ang sakit na this could actually happen twice in a
Yes.
row, two tournaments na pinagsasalihan nyo. Ang sakit isipin.
Yeah, I mean, especially napakahirap ng daan na pinagdaanan nila dito, and of course, resulting onto Game 3 even against one of the most known teams here in the Valorant PH circuit, Team Chimera. So, again, ayaw natin masayang yung efforts nila dito sa KDR Tournament Series. But according to our rules, guys, meron tayong time limit when it comes to tactical pause. And I do believe that if they exceed that time limit, we don't have a choice except to continue throughout the match. Because, of course, we're running on the clock here.
But imagine though, playing this without a breach. Ang hirap to contest like
Playing
this
this
for
without
defenders.
any agent, down one man is in a tournament setting. It's just ridiculous to imagine, and I think it's very, very heartbreaking. But let's not give up all hope yet. Perhaps he's just about to reconnect. Again, we are getting confirmation from our production team as to what exactly has happened on the side of Team Atlas. So momentarily, we will give you guys some confirmation for all you Atlas fans out there. But going back into the game lane, Chimera and Atlas, as you mentioned, they're kind of like fragmented, and that's probably because they don't have a Sova, they don't have a Cypher. They lack that sort of info game perhaps in their team composition, and that's probably why it seems as though they're kind of fragmented. They're trying to make plays individually on their own. We saw Brain Freeze over there at A main making his own plays and actually securing that round for Chimera in a couple rounds ago, and that's been the common narrative. You see Gadot popping off. You see Brain Freeze making his own plays on the lurk. So parang ganun narrative kasi wala silang masyadong intel agents.
Which is honestly, parang kung ako din naman din iisipin, it's hard for you to actually just rely on your dry picks, rely on your flash picks, kasi it's still gonna be risky kapag wala kang early point on information whenever to peak. Like it's great for you to pre-aim, but it's not like in most cases that you're gonna be winning those. As much as possible, then play around like the other utilities on your agents. You could actually utilize paranoia for that. Pero kapag yung mga ganito, like it's really crucial for you to actually play on split. Because what if you're gonna be committing for those narrow passageways and just go in for the B main, like for B takes na doon lang kayo? Because ideally, that's not supposed to happen. But what if that's gonna be the case? Like you're on a 3v5 and like a 3v4, and you really have to scout for more like for early information, like as soon
Absolutely.
as possible, and that's what you actually need. Kahit cipher cameras, kahit isa lang spot off nyo, like the angle that the recon bolt actually could cover, that is a lot. Kahit yung sabihin mo on retake, especially on retake, ideal combo talaga yan is basically recon bolt, either like followed by a flash, or at least naman like something from a breach, because ang laking turnaround of events just by having those little utilities na sabihin natin that we should definitely be appreciating, because nakikita natin na how the games are actually going so far. It just feel a little bit unstable on um how the lineups are actually going to be going here tonight. Because yung makita natin dito, there's literally little to no, like nothing that they actually been contesting for. Because, bodies are just basically going to be falling down here and there. And it's going to be a 1v2, isang madalian nga lang pala. And Atlas could actually still be, no, it's a 1v1 since the other dude is AFK. 1v1, Omen against Killjoy. Backstab coming in from behind. Clyde finishing this off really quickly.
So they actually decided to continue the game down one
Yeah.
man. So this is gonna be really bad for Atlas, but they won the round somehow.
Somehow,
Looks
yes.
like he's looking for a weapon.
I mean, I've seen him do this before. No,
He's trying to delay.
They
He's trying to
managed
delay. Yeah, I guess. So in
Yun
hopes
lang-
of
yun lang daw.
the guy coming back online, which is of course understandable, I guess. But Chimaera losing a 4v5 situation there, not very promising. But perhaps a bit overzealous on the fact that they were down one man over there in that situation. Economically, they're okay. Chimaera on those full rifle buys as well, but Bryce still on that operator. We'll see what they can do. Again, Atlas Dre is disconnected from the game, so they are playing a 4v5 despite the scorecard showing 5 agents on the board.
But still, it could still be a doable defense coming in from Team Atlas based on what we've seen just a while ago. But I'm pretty sure Team Kimmer has figured this out so far. But seems like they're playing it this one a little bit too smartly. Kasi given like the trap setups na ginagawa ng Team Chimera out of this, for Team Atlas out of this, they're playing this a little bit too cautious. Na kung saan there isn't gonna be anyone na mapipitas ng isang maaga coming out from their team. And Clyde is gonna be making sure of that because he's actually managed at least 2 kills for himself and possibly the third. But he is gonna be reinforced out for the reload here.
It's like they are making it happen still, despite being down one man. It's all down to beats against 3 agents from Atlas. Very impressive defense coming in from Tim and the Omen as well. Now 1v2, still winnable condition though.
Wilmo condition coming up from Beats. He still has that satchel place na gusto nyo natin makikita. Although he's down to 51, goes in for the spray, pero Bry, that dashing was a really, he actually put himself in a really good spot there. Na kung saan, na nakakaught off guard.
Now it's gonna be the last round on the first half. Na ito talaga eh. Pag sa second half talagang I think mahihirapan sila mag-attack without that breach. I mean, come on, let's face it. So any moment now I hope Dre comes back and make this a fair fight once again. For those of you guys watching, we do have a time limit when it comes to pausing, and unfortunately, we cannot remain paused for the whole night, waiting for a player to reconnect. It's just unfortunate, but the show must go on here.
The show must definitely go on. It seems like there is going to be a show that's about to happen on towards A side. Fault line being committed. Mukhang wala pa silang mapipitas out of that push. Gadowers goes in for the entry. Mukhang they're trying to clear off screens as much as possible. Although Bry with the operator is going to get a flash shot. Mukhang wala siyang angle makakontest for except for A-Rap. But wala pong magpupush dyan. He is going to be committing his cloud burst. So should deny the pushes or assist naman the aggression na mangyayari out of that. But brain freeze. Mukhang siya pa nga mapapatumba ni Tim with the Phantom. It's gonna be a 3v3 retake. Beats playing passively on A-Ramp. Yoshi, though, little as he knows that's gonna be someone who's gonna be swinging just around the corner, and that's gonna be him falling down and completely being punished for that. Lockdown po, mukhang i-commit, showstopper, mukhang ilalabas, at there's gonna be no one na mag-aabang on towards hell.
No one's going to be detained. And it looks like they're having only about 10 to 15 seconds left for the retake.
Player
Not quite.
standing.
Not enough time. Not enough time to even flee out onto the site. And still, Chimaera winning the round once again. Finally, after that 4v5.
I mean, it's a very, very tough start
Switching
from
sides.
Chimaera. Atlas really put up a good fight, but unfortunately, because of the circumstances, we'll see what happens here in the second half. Now, once again, this coming into the second half, Chimaera will be on the defense and Atlas will be on attack.
Mukhang ito talaga. I really do hope that it's gonna be different this time around once we actually have these issues are resolved, and the team, both teams, Atlas Chimaera, actually have managed to even this one out, and I really do hope na that it's gonna be a fresh start from here.
Yep.
Six na like. Yeah,
Okay.
I really do hope it's gonna be a fresh start from here. But I really do hope that like things will be different around. Given na nakikita na talaga natin what Atlas can do, and I really hope na there is gonna be like there is gonna be something na masasagot ni Chimaera out of that. Kasi imagine they actually they actually still won regardless of like the man disadvantage that they currently have. Imagine if they actually played this one on a 5v5, like things could be a lot more different, and parang sasabihin talaga natin na it's still gonna be like a run Atlas is still gonna win, but regardless, individually, they're good on their own. It's just na
Talagang
they just
pinakita
have
nila
these
na
issues na
kaya nilang lumaban, di ba? But again, you know, it's not their fault. Technical issues abound, especially in these online tournaments. There's nothing we can do. We're just getting confirmation on our production team as to what's happening as of this moment. So please be patient, ladies and gentlemen. Again, we do apologize for these issues. You know, these are unforeseen events, and we're trying our best to deal with them so we can settle this in a very fair manner, so we can, of course, achieve the outcome that was actually intended to happen in the first place.
Well, we just really have to be patient on like issues like this kasi hindi talaga may iwasan. There really
Okay.
is something na mangyayari sa mga situations like this, especially in tournaments. And what's up, Dax?
Yeah.
Welcome to the
Just got a word.
party.
We just got a word. Okay, Dax is gonna enlighten us, right?
Was I just been disappearing the whole time? So basically, guys, since we are at the half right now, we are gonna be resetting the lobby. Some of the error codes are probably because of the party system, and
Okay.
I think that's error code 51, which something Atlas already suffered during Sweaty Night. So
Okay.
ang Atlas talaga, sanay na mag 4v5. They've done it before. They really put up a good fight against Agent Nefarious nun. Pero right now, since we are in the midway point, we are gonna be doing the lobby again. Diba? 6-6 ang score natin. Di pipilitin natin yung 6-6 scoreline muli. We're just gonna be either getting the players to kill each other, or we're gonna be fixing it up dun sa lobby mismo, and then we'll be going again into the next half. So basically, we're doing the re-lobby, so if it is a party issue, we should be able to get a reconnection. Hopefully,
Okay.
though, it doesn't happen again. And so far, this game has been pretty interesting. We saw a little bit of that tempo there. Atlas, again, showing up in so many ways, able to get those pickoffs as per usual. Chimaera doing the same. But then again, that 5v4, always a hamper there for Atlas. At grabe talaga tong new team na to. Kahit nandito na sila sa playoffs, they really bring their all. And they've made such a big debut, truly, in the KDR tournament series.
Absolutely. I mean, absolutely incredible run thus far. I mean, they were off to a rough start in this series against Chimaera, but they fought back. They mounted an impressive comeback, especially here in the third game. You know, up until this technical issue, which again will be resolved momentarily. So just, you know, sit back, relax, and enjoy the rest of the show.
So, what do you guys think about the game so far? What do you think about the series so far? So, we had game number 1 taken by Chimaera in dominant fashion in a way. And the second game, though, Atlas keeping it close and then finally getting it to work.
Yeah.
Interesting ways to go about things, especially in game number 2. Parang ilang beses na pilitan ng Atlas ang Chimaera to do something kind of questionable. Na tipong, okay, lockdown play, tapos biglang alis lahat. And it's like, it really felt a bit awkward there in that latter half para sa Chimaera, and Atlas took advantage. They're always there in the scoreline and they're able to take it. Tapos tong game number 3, same thing, close pa rin. Pero masasabi ko na lang, Chimaera doing the things that they need to do on the attack and Atlas doing the things that they need to do on the defense. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I really think that this is an example of sort of growing pains for a team like Atlas, who sort of dove headfirst into the Valorant PH circuit. Again, this is sort of their first major tournament according to their fans in chat. And but talagang it looks like hindi sila sanay sa current meta that we're used to seeing here in the Valorant PH circuit, right? So yung first map against Chimaera, talagang sobrang wake-up call yun for them. They had to adapt on the fly, sort of adjust on the fly, and they proved that they can do that as a flexible team coming into Game 2 and Game 3. So really, I think this is just the tip of the iceberg for a team like Atlas, and I'm really curious to see how the rest of this Best of 3 series will play out. What about you, Ling?
Well, honestly, I have to really agree on you on that. Na in terms of like how Atlas is performing so far in the series, parang late lang nila na-realize on how different it actually is when in terms of like competitive gameplay up to this level. It's their first considerably major tournament, and it actually shows. It's not gonna be like another game of pubs. It's not just gonna be like this mini tournament that we actually do every Thursday. Plug ko lang, Sweaty Nights every Thursday, 7 p.m. Discord.gg/ValorantPH. So yeah, about that, dito mo talaga nakita ang difference because the level of plays, the tier, like the skill difference, dun mo talaga makikita. Kasi experience-wise, I would definitely have to give it up to a Team Chimaera. But still, there's still a lot more questionable plays na nangyayari a while ago, which is unexpected for a team like that. But then again, parang I wouldn't be surprised if like a few mistakes here and there are gonna be happening for Atlas because for so far, the whole experience of being able to compete in a tournament like this is a huge learning experience for them. Marami sila na pick up based on the mga based on like the opposing team na nakaharap nila. Bro, they actually beat Samurais. Bro, isipin mo yun, so far in the run on towards the playoffs, Atlas Esports beat Hashira by 9-13, followed by Samurais 13-3. Isipin mo yun. I'm pretty sure everyone knows both of these teams and how well they actually performed during the early runs, or sabihin during their era on towards like the Valorant PH competitive scene. And isipin mo yun on how fast Team Atlas is picking up so fast, how fast Team Atlas is actually picking up so far when it comes to like catching up on the competitive scene. I still have high hopes for them. And yung ito like this, ang makikita ko lang so far sa nangyari, it's just like a little bump in the road that they're currently experiencing kasi they're still trying to figure out their true identity in the competitive scene. And this is actually where the parang unang yugto talaga nila.
Wow.
Literally.
Actually, name drop.
Bit of a throwback.
Wow,
right
first
there.
chapter. Pero, the problem right now is that speed bump has happened twice in a row na para sa Atlas. This is the second time we're seeing them actually get costed some really crucial rounds because of it. So I don't know what's up with their setups there back at home or whatever, but it really needs to be Atlas. This team already deserves support. Feel ko talaga. Parang,
sayang kasi yung potential. Napakaganda ng pinakita nila dito.
Bootcamp
Final
lang dyan,
Four.
boss.
Final Four, man.
That's a big feat. Kasi nakita natin yung top 8 natin. Tapos ngayon nasa top 4 sila. Feel ko talaga, guys. In the future, this Atlas squad says, guys, pasign naman kami. Bootcamp man dyan. Because you really want to see this team do amazing things. At kita talaga natin na kung 4v5 sila, nakakapalag pa rin eh. Ilang beses na pinakita sa atin paano yun. So, it's just ridiculous na it's happening to them specifically, na it's so consistent, so something has to be an issue there. But since we do have a way to fix it right now, kasi umabot tayo, nangyari yun sa first half compared nung Sweaty Nights, diba na it happened during the second half, so there was no way to really try to reset the whole thing. So, kaya nga, we're just taking this time to talk about the whole matchup where our prod is working really hard to make sure na ang scoreline natin ay sakto kasi syempre we wanna make sure yung 6-6 nandun pa rin and we can continue on from that point. Pero yun na yun eh. Yun na yung lifeline ng Atlas ngayon eh. It's an unforeseen error, it's an in-game error, so we can attest to it and we can fix it. Pero if it happens again to him, then wala na talaga. Yeah.
But you know what? I'm really glad, guys, that we're actually, our prod team is actually going out of their way to resolve this in the most fair manner possible, right? I mean, I'm glad we didn't decide to go through like a 4v5 throughout the rest of the game. That's just unfair because Atlas worked so hard to get here and they really deserve, a proper chance, a proper shot at the grand finals.
Ah.
So
So I think we're almost there. So
Almost there.
trying to get 6-6 isn't the easiest thing. You know, it's,
mano-mano ba yan?
Ling, tarang sabihin natin, Ling, na tipong there's gonna run for it and get those kills. Anyway, though, it's time to get back into the game. I'll leave it to you guys yet again to do the casting.
Thank you, Daks. I'll catch you later. Now it's going to be, as you said, 6-6 score line over here. And of course, now it's going to be a 5v5, as it should be.
Placing alarm bot.
As all things should be, always in this game. Ideally, yes, but
Ideally,
seems like
yes.
finally we're gonna be seeing a fair match coming up for tonight. Kung saan Atlas versus Chimaera are gonna be facing off once again on towards the second half, but. Oh, what? But we are gonna be seeing them. We are gonna be seeing Chimaera playing all the way on towards defender side this time around. But seems like so far wala pang hindi pa ata
we're
magsa-start.
still on the match pause. We're still sorting out perhaps a few issues. The timer is running, so we are about to begin the second half of game number 3.
So, yun na. 12. I'm sorry. Mukhang inaantay lang po nilang timer dahil isang napakahabang antayan na pong gagawin natin dito with like 40 seconds for you to set up all your, this has to be like Killjoy heaven at this point. You basically have enough time to
All
run
time
around
in
the
the
site.
world.
Like, makaset up ka sa A, makaset up ka sa B, and you could pretty much do everything that you want right now.
Yeah, absolutely. But here, 3 seconds left. Finally, the wait is over, folks. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going into the second half of game number 3.
Second half of game number 3. It seems like we are going to be
Mid
seeing
control, no?
Team Atlas going in for the mid control. Mukhang gagapang sila dito, but no one is going to be contesting for that. Makikita natin dito from Team Chimaera is that they are going to be trying to go in for a site-intensive defense here. Na kung saan they're just going to be giving up B heaven and of course not contesting those early aim duels that could possibly risk a single life in their team.
Again, in a pistol round, that's actually a very, very smart play. And I totally understand what they're doing here. Ganda mo to. Ganda ng pwesto ni Ripper dito. Will he get a kill?
He is definitely not going to be getting out of that because Team Atlas are just going to be swarming on towards the side. We're going to be left with the Killjoy and Beats na who are going to be trying to contest this time around. But the Frenzy is going to be trying to play off so far Bri with a refrag, and so is going to be Yoshi who decides to join in the party. 7-6, first pistol round is going to be going for Team Atlas. And of course, a lot of rounds still going to be doable here. Once they actually try to put this into their favor, invest so much in the SMGs and of course the upgrades here, this could actually be a start for them. Para morale boost naman sila.
Pero mukhang magpo-force by ang ibang agents ng KDR dito with a couple of buckies here and there. Gado with 800 credits left, so he is going on that force. We'll see if it'll pay off in terms of that investment. Pero clean round from Atlas so far. Mukhang hindi gumana ang sort of parang nag-give sila ng spacing kanina pero parang hindi gumana at the first round. Let's see what they do in this second round.
It's not going to be ideal for them to actually push this out all on their own given the nakabaki, and of course there's going to be Worship who's playing out for close with the shorty. It's not ideal for you to actually contest for those, and a good thing na sinubukan talaga nila na to actually try to at least throw off a few bit of utility there just to even secure that wala pong mamamatay sa saktong pagda-dry pick sa mga angulong yun, because it's definitely not going to be worth it. Aggressive plays are going to be like good once you actually hit your shots and like survive at the end of that engagement, but still as much as possible use your utility, which is something that I want to see out of Team Atlas this time around.
Paka slow play ng ginagawa ng Atlas dito, and really good double peek there onto Gado as Dre takes down Worship. Look at this. The spike is only rotating now, so I like the restraint that they're showing on here. Very looks like to
30
be a
seconds
very
left.
clean round for Team Atlas yet again.
Clean run for Team Atlas, and of course Chimaera might actually try to force out this retake and possibly makakuha pa nga ng isa si Bri dito, coming out from that aggression na ginagawa niya on towards A heaven, and of course Clyde D could actually secure a ghost out of that kill. 8-6.
Yeah. Let's see if it'll be a 9-6 because, again, economically, Chimaera is not exactly in the best of situations as of this moment. Confirm that if we take a look at the scoreboard. But we do see rifles going out here for the side of Atlas. Looks like they are going to be on half armors. So this could bite them back into this round.
Definitely have to like bite back, definitely, because kung makita mo dito, if Atas could actually try to at least go in for early mid control, which is they're not, like ideally din talaga dapat mangyari once they actually have Spectres, hindi nila ma-achieve yun given how much ito din tinatapon ng Team Chimaera coming out of that, and it's gonna be two people na mapipitas ni Clyde out of that engagement. There's gonna be Worship with the refrag, and Dre, mukhang the utility usage definitely is gonna be paying off so well because that's gonna be leaving Atlas on towards a 1v2 situation. Although may marinig nga tayong turret dito na nakaabang lang po on top angle, close main entrance. But seems like the Killjoy might actually not fully rotate just yet. Out of the turret and the information that she got from that, mukhang she's a bit too hesitant on at least naman going and fully committing and running towards the assistance for his teammate na mukhang tumatambay lang on a heaven. Not really fully knowing na may tao na nagpa-flank just right behind him. Good thing this brain freeze is gonna be swinging just right in time for him.
Yeah. I get what Dre tried to do there. He activated the turret and basically aggro the turret and then tried to make Chimaera rotate onto B side thinking he would plant B. So he rotated A, pero nabasa yun ng Chimaera. So napakaganda na anticipation na pinakita doon. And a Herculean effort coming in from Ripper with that multi-kill, which essentially secured the man advantage for Chimaera because early on in the round, naging 3v5 kasi dahil sa forward positioning ni Gado and of course one of the agents from Chimaera over there at mid lane. So that was a very, very risky move, but it paid out in the end for Chimaera.
It's a very risky move, pero honestly, parang it's honestly really ideal naman din for a situation like that, coming up from Team Chimaera. Napipilitin na lang nila ito on a 1v2 and actually play for a retake. Kasi, kung mag 1:1 sila on basically any site, isang madaling pitasan lang yung mangyayari. So, it's still a good call coming out from them. Like, the threat is still gonna be there regardless. And of course, marinig naman talaga nila on whichever site talaga mag-go in for ang plat. And that's going to be giving them enough time to actually go in and play together this time around. But seems like here, Ultimate is going to be committed coming out from the Omen, and there's going to be Gadors. Muang Dagde, deny na po the push coming out on towards B side. Of course, Tim could actually be tagged down and going to be dying coming up from the paint shells, but he's going to be down to 7 HP and barely holding on to his life. There's going to be Beats though, swinging all the way from CT, goes in there for the think, and of course, Showstopper being committed. Mukhang makapitas ang dalawa, and that's going to be the 2K na kinakailangan niya, and of course the win that Chimaera definitely needs.
Yep, those are the plays that Chimaera needs right now. And of course, when Gado again gets those multi-kills, it's just a force to be reckoned with. And yeah, at that point, I think Chimaera should pretty much take it easy over there in the mid lane aggression, sort of play it back a bit and go for retake. Kasi as a 5-man going for the retake, sobrang lakas ng team comp na Chimaera, sobrang lakas ng synergy nila. And taking a look at that beautiful replay, beautiful play coming in from Beats, just sends a message down the spine of Atlas.
It's definitely a good message that they have definitely received na, of course, Atlas mukhang medyo mahirapan dito at mukhang mapipilitan sila sa kahirapan once again because Sheriff's still gonna be effective, but still though, could they pull this off one more time na kung saan they could get those easy frags na kinakailangan nila on towards on any point of that na kinakailangan talaga ni Aggress. Map control is not gonna be completely on towards their favor. They're not even getting the openings except for that one on towards Ray, but a quick kill pa galing kay Beats is gonna be a really effective one kasi dalawang makakuha niya out of that, and there's gonna be Clyde D just gonna be swarming and of course running on towards him just to even force out that trade to happen. He's gonna be trying to smoke off whichever angle and try to isolate this one for himself. It seems like they're a bit too hesitant kung asan ba talaga sila pupunta. Pupulutin lang muna natin ang Phantom at subukan natin if makakakuha pa ako ng isa out of this play.
Yeah, I mean, they do have sufficient information that they are coming from heaven, rotating onto A site through vents. Now, I'm
30
pretty sure
seconds
Chimaera
left.
knows exactly where they are here. So I won't be surprised if Ripper will be staying over there. Does activate the alarm bot, so a quick rotate is in order here.
Quick rotate, paranoia play, but Ripper mukhang kuha pa nga na isa. But seems like Tim is gonna be the one who hit his shots. 2v3. Then mukhang it's gonna be Tim who's gonna be left alone to hold off at least one angle here. But seems like it's not really ideal for him to even contest for those. He's down to 17 HP. So it's gonna be the Omen who's barely even holding on to his life right now. But Brain Freeze, isang bala na pong kinakailangan niya upang mapipitas ang isa. 2v2 na po nangyayari. Quick headshot, mukhang mapapa 1v1 at mukhang mananalo na naman sa retake ang Team Chimaera.
Napakaganda ng retake na yan. Great tandem coming in from Worship. And of course, our Killjoy over there. I think dapat kailangan na mag-adjust ng Atlas yung executions nila. Napaka-predictable kasi when they try to go for that sort of mid to B heaven, I think they're better off committing after they get those initial picks instead of rotating onto A and waiting for the rest of Chimaera to rotate. Kasi parang napaka-predictable lang yung kailan sila mag-back off. So I'd like to see them actually go for a full commit, perhaps a B split.
Medyo nagdadalawang isip kasi sila even kasi kahit parang that huge time, like the time difference between the first two kills kanina just a while ago, which was actually really big to the point na iisip, like mapapa-overthink ka ba talaga as yung attacking side if nakakapag-rotate na kaya sila? May tao na ba sa city? Parang medyo magdadalawang isip ka talaga sa ginagawa ng Team Chimaera because they know Team Chimaera actually plays out these, tries to play these out really fast. And ayaw talaga nila na madadala sila ng ganun. Pero it seems like sa kaka-overthink ng mga ganung plays, dun talaga sila na natatalo.
Pero ito na nga, they did try to go for that full commit, you know, even with that lockdown in place and a showstopper. Pero ang ganda na ginawa ng Chimaera doon, they just went, you know, far back, and now they're going for the retake with a lockdown of their own. This is beautifully played from Chimaera.
But that flash from Breach, mukhang ito nga pala makakancel ng kanilang bomb plant. Although one player is gonna be detained, Brain Freeze is trying to clear out the side here. Although that push coming out from the attackers are not gonna be paying off so well because wala silang makakuha out of that. But Yoshi is trying to make a few frags of his own with the paint shots. Mukhang he's gonna be trying to delay the bomb defuse here. Pushes on towards the smoke and mukhang si Ripper po ang magtatapos ng buhay ng kuya natin. Barely even making it alive here in this round. But seems like these two are still gonna be alive and kicking with just low on HP.
Mukhang ang Chimaera ngayon lamang na sila ng 2 points and slowly but surely they're kind of running away with it right now. 4 points consecutively on the board, and this is definitely what you want to see. They're only 3 points away from victory and securing a grand final spot here in the KDR tournament series. And mukhang ikaw-ran pa Ling yung Atlas ngayon. So this is definitely not good. Definitely not good for Atlas.
Definitely not going to be good kasi kung makikita mo naman how Atlas is going to be trying to play this one out. Although they are going to be playing this really aggressively compared to what we've seen before. Malalaman mo talaga na gini-give up nilang contesting for male because hindi talaga siya ideal for them to actually play themselves around that. But it's good thing that Beats has that full control with that choke point papuntang mid and vents. Mukhang they are trying to deny the map control na gustong mapapatupad ng Atlas at this point. But seems like they're not even letting them even get the frags that they need to get the openings na kinakailangan to even go in for side takes.
And sinasabi ko lang Ling, parang yung Atlas na nakikita natin ngayon is a completely different team from what we saw in round 1. Yung game 1 natin sa Bind. So, you know, no matter what happens here, still an impressive performance from Atlas. Although 5v3 situation right now, make that a 5v2. Ripper takes down Clyde.
I got the spike.
See if they can actually close this out.
They are going to be trying to close this out. Isang madali ang push po without even thinking twice about it. Because, you know, it definitely isn't ideal for you to actually go for those risky plays. You're just going to be trying to run and gun. Although you were trying to play with the Blade Storm, checking angles should always try to play this one really smartly. Keep yourself alive as much as possible and, you know, ganun.
Absolutely agree. And, you know, no matter, you know, what gun you're using or perhaps on the Blade Storm, you got to be diligent about checking those corners. But here, it seems like full buys all around, and Beat's going to be on that operator again. typically tends to go on that operating towards the end of the game. Very curious, but let's see. Especially on defense here on split, operator can be absolutely devastating.
It is going to be devastating and a huge one na might say na makakuha talaga sila ng opening the pickings that they need. Although Worship and Beats trying to fend off like A side at all their own, but little do they know, Yoshi is already on towards side. Mukhang inaabangan nila yung Omen to actually make a play on towards siya. Makikita nga niya ang barrel and Tim goes in for the headshot. Mukhang he actually get another one coming out from screens. It's going to be left for a 1v2. Around still doable. Ang rami pang time to actually play around with. Showstopper on the line and mukhang attackers actually won that coming out from that kill that he actually got first before he even did. Isang
Yeah, unfortunately,
napakasayang na round talaga.
The bullets travel faster than the rocket. Yeah, that was a very, very funny situation that we don't see happen too often. But Chimaera still with a 2-point lead. But Atlas just gaining a bit of breathing room, much needed breathing room. But economically, they're not in a good spot. Beats though still with an operator. So Chimaera still sitting very comfortably with that 2-point lead.
Comfortably with a 2-point lead and it seems like medyo nahihirapan talaga sila on side takes. Nakikita mo naman dun kanina na kinumit like sinubukan talaga nila na bubuhusin lahat just to go in for side takes. But this time around, Atlas is doing something really different that I haven't really seen them before so far in this game. They're trying to fake out the lockdown, but seems like here, everybody on Team Chimaera is gonna hold off their ground because wala pa silang
Oh my God,
mapapatumba.
Ripper!
With the spray down in the 3K, isang mabilisan. Spike is gonna be down at mukhang the Rays and the Killjoy being the two people being left on alive. Although Godowers is trying to cut off the rotation here, Yoshi po mukhang unang mamamatay coming out from that. But seems like the Killjoy, mukhang magdadalawang isip na tayo dito if they're gonna be trying to contest this one around because Tim, mukhang the Phantoms could that be actually be enough to even wipe out anyone who's gonna be guarding out that Spike? Could he actually try to contest that? Definitely not. Well, ideally, no. Hindi mo talaga kailangan I should definitely say na kinakailangan mo save yung baril na yan, but mukhang wala ka talagang makuha ang exit frags coming out of that position.
Let's take a look at this instant replay powered by Expert Ripper with 3K lineup kill. Now, this is something very, very peculiar that I observed, Link. When it comes to Atlas, they're capable of hitting those insane shots and doing really good rotations, but there are just quite a few moments in time that they line up for a multi-kill for their opponent. So, it's quite unfortunate to see that happen because those errors shouldn't be happening at this level of play. That basically just threw the round right there.
I mean, it's still going to be understandable if it's coming out from Team Atlas. I mean, you're going up against Team Chimaera right now. And given that like the enough experience, and yun yung sabihin talaga natin, sinusubukan talaga natin binabasa ang ginagawa nila dito. Showstopper coming out to play para kay Yoshi Pot. But so far, wala siyang makikita except that's gonna be for 2, playing for Tunnels. Mukhang hindi pa nga siya the shots don't even connect so far. Brain Freeze making a play. Buti na lang may pain shot soon upang mapapatay siya and actually going for the trades. But actually little to no firepower na kinakailangan nila to actually make this round a little bit more possible. But there goes the backstab coming out from Dre. Worship goes in for the refrag at mukhang isang madali ang play na nagagawang 1v2 na po dito ngayong araw. Although we are going to be seeing the Rays plays once again.
Looks like it's going to be 63 points of HP and Dream. This might be one of the biggest clutches of his life. If he doesn't clutch this out, Chimaera is going to be walking away with a grand final spot. 37 seconds left on the clock. It's going to be Beats with that operator shot to the body of Yoshi, securing that grand final spot. Chimaera win.
Chimaera has definitely won and deserved that. Mukhang nagigising na mga koy natin dito. Hindi talaga sila papayag na ibibigay ang grand final spot and go up against a team like Bren Esports mamayang gabi because makikita talaga natin they have definitely fought their way on towards this series. And of course, kahit sa grupo nila, I'm not gonna be telling that Chimaera didn't go through much because they went up against teams like Anbu. They went up on teams like Subversive and AG Nafaris. And kung tutuusin, those are teams that should be, that obviously is not going to be a joke. It's not going to be taken lightly. And so far in the experience that they've had on towards this series, parang it's honestly crucially enough now for them to actually na makita natin they definitely deserve it.
Yeah, absolutely. And, all of our teams that, got into the top 8 spot, the top 4 especially, deserve to be here because they've gone through a very, very long, treacherous road. It was an arduous process, but they arrived and they performed very, very well. We even got to Game 3 in the best of 3 series here, Atlas. Sort of, the underdog, so to speak, in this matchup. New faces here in the Valorant PH circuit, and they've done very, very well. Very, very impressive, and definitely a team to watch out for. But congratulations again to Chimaera. Now they're on to a date with Destiny, with Brand Esports coming into this grand final match. Any last words, Ling, about that series?
I mean, hopefully they would keep this up on how they actually try to dominate Atlas at this point. Sana kaya nilang dadalhin yan on towards a team like Brand
Right.
Esports. Brand Esports, can they still be crowned as undefeated so far in our country, or could Team Chimaera actually be one of the contending teams that could actually question, or at least naman try to challenge a giant like Brand Esports right now. So makikita natin yan in a bit on towards the grand finals. And
Yeah, it's formerly Team Retaliate against Team Adroit before. They were able to take a map here and there. So it's very interesting to see how both of these teams evolved and see their dynamic going up against each other again. But we're going to be tossing you over to our hosts, Cloud and Laika, before we head into our grand finals. Take it away, guys.
That was a pretty chaotic game in my opinion. Like the first half was a bit chaotic for me, but of course Chimaera proving that they deserve to be.
Yeah,
the grand
and they're
finals.
gonna be facing Brand Esports later on. But before we hand it off to the grand finals, actually, ang una pa natin mawi-witness later ay yung battle for third. Siyempre, may pa-suspense tayo. Hindi tayo magda-dive right in at malalaman kung sino yung best of the best dito sa KDR Tournament Series
Yes.
natin. Ang maglalaban later for third place ay ang Atlas and ang AG Nefarious. Yan. So, that's also a sight to see. It's gonna be a best of one
Yeah.
matchup. And titingnan natin kung sino nga ba yung third placer sa tournament na to.
This is gonna be fun kasi best of one lang siya. So you can't afford to make any
Yeah.
mistakes.
All or nothing dapat. Hindi katulad pag best of 3 series na, okay, not my game, not my map,
Okay,
bawi next game.
bawi tayo next
Wala,
map.
hindi
Bawi
pwedeng
tayo.
bumawi. Kailangan all or nothing. Kailangan online ka kaagad pagpasok mo pa lang sa mapa, syempre.
And actually, it's gonna be interesting sa finals, no? Kasi Bren napahinga, and then here we have Chimaera with the momentum, and I'd like to see them carry the momentum onto Bren and give them quite a show. No?
Kumbaga, kakalaban lang kasi ng Chimaera eh. Tapos after na to, may best of 1 match.
Oo.
And then later, best of 3
Oo.
match sila versus Brand Esports. So,
Oo.
medyo fresh pa eh.
Oo.
Kumbaga yung muscle memory mo, gising
mainit-init pa yun.
Oo.
Condition pa kamay nun eh.
So, sana nga, di ba, para mainit din yung laban natin later on sa grand finals. Pero for now, why don't we talk about the giveaways that we're gonna have after the break. So ito, may chance kayong manalo ng all of the prizes that you can see down below. Pero after the break, when we return, we're gonna be announcing the winners of more Gcash as well as a keyboard. Tama ba?
No. Tatlong Gcash lang.
Tatlong Gcash lang?
Tatlong Gcash worth 500 pesos.
Okay. Yan.
So may chance pa kayo na sumali, and kung paano sumali is in the pinned comment.
Yes. Take a look at the pinned comment right now. Use our official hashtags para makasali kayo sa ating giveaway. And of course, these giveaways would not be possible if it were not for the help of our sponsors. So, Cloud?
And of course, we have Globe at Home. With Globe at Home, you can recreate the world right at home.
We also have our official PC partner, Legion Philippines and Intel. So, you are gonna be stylish on the outside?
Savage on the inside.
Exactly. We'd also like to say thank you to our brothers from XSplit because this is powered by XSplit.
And of course, this event is brought to you by Valorant PH and Valorant Rising.
Whoa. Grabe, Cloud, so far. Parang nanonood lang ako sa kanila pero napapagod din ako.
Actually, ako yung napapagod para sa kanila pag pinapanood ko
Ay,
yung
nako.
takbo ng mga laro. Very chaotic siya for me, especially that last game.
Ako, may pagka-nervyosa ako. Aminado ako dyan. Madali akong matense. Sabi ko yan kahapon. Beautiful, beautiful esports pag nafe-feel. Imagine mo nanonood ka lang ng game, hindi naman ikaw yung naglalaro, pero you feel these things. You know? And I think that's what makes any form of sport beautiful, di ba? Na parang, nanonood lang naman ako, bakit ako rin kinakabahan? Akala mo naman ako yung mananalo.
Ikaw din napapagod eh. Ramdam mo eh.
Oo. Pero kaya sana hindi pa kayo pagod dyan sa ating audience. Enjoy lang kayo dyan. More Valorant goodness coming your way right after the break.